Welcome, everyone, to Gotham City Bulletin. I'm going to bring in my co-hosts here in just a moment. Tonight, we are doing the Batman 2004 Watch Party Commentaries. As always, we will be picking these episodes from a random list that we have put together and put into a randomizer. Without further ado, Robert, Noah, how's it going?
Pretty good.
Good? Yeah, good.
Is this a commentary for the Batman or the Batman? The answer is yes.
Yeah. For the person who answered that question, it's a commentary for the Batman.
For the person who answered that question?
For the person who asked that question.
That's not what you said.
Yeah, I know.
It's fine. We'll fix it in post.
We'll fix it in post, yeah. It's not like we're live or anything.
We are live. You bastards.
Oh, God. All right, time to restart the stream.
How embarrassing.
We have to start over. All right. One last thing we need to do. One last thing I need to do. All right. All right. I've got it pulled up on Max. We would just start with the pilot. However, you guys didn't put it on there. I did, but I figured with this show, it might be more fun to just start with a random episode.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so too.
So we are going to start with a wheel spin, so then I can put the episode title on the video description, or in the video somewhere. So let's see.
We have no idea how this is going to go.
We don't. All right, wheel. Is everybody ready to spin the wheel?
Go for it.
I'm so ready.
And our first episode is Season 3, Episode 7, Artifacts.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
starting with the last one. Perfect.
Wow. Starting with
literally the last chronological episode of the series.
Yeah.
Perfect.
All right, so that is Season S3E03 Artifacts.
Episode 7.
Yeah.
Oh,
now, if anyone is confused by the episode number, we're going by how it's listed on a Max. So for some reason, Max listed the first 2 seasons as one season. So if you're using a DVD or Blu-ray, this will actually be season 4. Just giving people a heads up.
Just a heads up.
But on Max, this is season 3.
I'm watching this on Max. I know it's also on Netflix, and I'm not sure if it's listed the same way there.
Is it on Netflix?
It is on Netflix, yeah.
Oh,
weird.
I'm going to do it with Max just to stick with the right episode ordering.
Yeah. No, last time I was on Netflix, I just saw it there. I was like, oh, okay, this show's back. Weird.
Yeah, I feel like this is kind of the underrated Batman adaptation. I feel like you had to kind of be there to appreciate it, because it's kind of sandwiched between arguably, the most definitive adaptation and The Brave and the Bold, which is a completely different thing, which has its own fan base. How do you guys feel about this show?
Torgo, go for it.
I really like this show. I don't love it. I know that this show does have a pretty dedicated fan base, not as rabid as some other fan bases, but there are a lot of people who really like this show. And I've always liked it fine enough, but it's never been my Batman cartoon, even though it was airing when I was like growing up, and I do remember watching some of it on TV, but I didn't get into all the episodes until much later, when I was pretty much a big fan of Batman the Animated Series, so that's more my Batman show than this.
And see, I find that funny because I'm older than you, but I'm just in that sweet spot where I'm a little too young for animated series, because that debuts, I think, around the same time that I was just born. But I knew of I was literally born in 92. But I was familiar with like Phantasm and Return of the Joker. But for an episodic show, this is very much the Batman that I grew up with.
Yeah.
I kind of like this more than animated series. I'm sorry.
Ooh.
I know this show better. But Robert and I have
mean-
talked about this. This is a more consistent show. It never reaches the heights of animated series, but it's more consistent.
Yes.
I'd agree with that. Yeah. I mean, I think there are a decent amount of people that would put this over the animated series, but not many.
Robert and I came decked out with our bat gear, and Noah's just like,
Yeah.
no,
No. I don't got nothing.
got nothing.
He's wearing black, so that's something.
I'm wearing black and I'm in the
We're
back
somewhat
cave.
unified.
There you go. All right, is everybody ready?
Yes, sir.
I am.
All right. In 3, 2, 1, play.
As bugs. So, this is going to be a very strange experience for me because I haven't watched this show in many years, and this
Oh,
is going to
nice.
be the first episode I rewatch. Because it's a great episode. This was one of my picks, but it's very different.
The big reason this isn't a show that I need revived or I need more seasons of is because not only does this have a proper series finale, like there aren't really many dangling plot threads, but we already have this episode, which is midway through season 4 or on max 3, and it's like it's their own epilogue episode of however far the show goes. Like we already have a built-in series finale because that's essentially what this
Exactly.
is. It is an epilogue for this
I mean,
take in this story.
I remember this episode
Theoretically-
confused the fuck out of me. Like, why are we
Right.
skipping ahead?
It's very jarring the first time you watch.
I don't necessarily need a revival of this show, but if you ask me this or animated series, at this point I would pick this, just because I
If it
have
was
no,
between those two, sure.
I have no interest in a animated series revival. I'm not really interested in a revival
I'd be
of
more
this
open to
either,
this.
just because I don't know what that would look like. But
Well, I think you could probably pick up and just do a Justice League show based on what they were setting up in the last season.
I'm kind of sad we never got
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, and I mean, I'd be way more open to this, but theoretically, you could fill in the gaps between where the show left off and this episode.
Mhm.
But you're right; like this is technically the series finale for the show.
I think this
Yeah,
is
yeah,
also by this
logically.
point we've changed the theme, and
Yes.
it's really trying to be that the '60s theme.
Yep.
I don't like, it.
I like it.
The first theme is
I like
so much better.
Yeah, the first theme's fine, but it's not. This is more of like a theme song. That's just more just kind of like, I don't know, vague instrumentals.
So
I
like
love
the animated series.
No, because that
well,
I don't know.
that's a lot more I get what he's saying. It's a lot more
Orchestral,
orchestral.
Like
No,
the first theme for the show is just like a few chords over and over again. That's what I'm trying to say.
Written by Greg Weisman.
Yep.
I didn't know who that was
Heard
when I
about
watched
good
this
things.
originally.
yeah, I prefer the first theme. I just love the atmosphere and the more
It fits
somber
the
kind of
show better.
songs
This
on.
is nothing like the '60s show.
Well,
It's
I do think
kind of like a fun action show, though. Like,
Yeah,
it's not a
and
campy thing like
th-
the '60s show.
this theme fits better on the episodes when like Batgirl or Robin are the focus, because there is kind of a tonal shift once those characters come in.
is.
Like the vibe
Well,
does change, but I still like it.
After season 2, if you're going by like the traditional structure, they do kind of pivot to we're just a Batman show now.
Yeah, more traditional.
And
Batman.
it's unfortunate in some ways because you drop some really cool plot threads, like Yin just disappears.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
I don't think they bring back their Clayface ever again.
They do once, and
Once.
it's
Yeah.
a very good episode.
Yeah, because this has one of the best Clayfaces. I'm just gonna say it.
Gotham City 2027.
27.
We're almost
Oh
there.
no, this is
We're almost
this is
there.
a few years later. Oh no.
Okay, so this is what really confused me the first time I watched this. This was I probably mentioned this on a previous episode on our channel. This was my first ever like hint or experience with anything Dark Knight Returns. So seeing this giant, old, bulky Batman was super weird for me when I was a kid. Because this is the
Funnily
first time I ever
enough,
saw anything of that aesthetic.
Funnily enough, now that I think about it, this would have also been my first experience with that material.
But now in hindsight, I think it's awesome.
No, yeah. I mean, I never hated this episode. Its biggest issue is just their Mr. Freeze sucks.
I like him. He's very one note, but
He is very one note. That's my issue with him. But he's played by Clancy Brown, so
yeah, and he's great.
I like the voice that Reno is doing for this older Batman.
Mm-hmm.
I think he has quite the good like Bruce Wayne Batman voice.
yeah, he's got a good distinction.
But what I think is neat about this episode with Freeze, though, is it's a nice contrast to our Mr. Freeze episode in Batman Beyond, where that's a lot more of a character piece and is a lot, slower and more dramatic. Here, it's just more of a cool action thing of like, yeah, here's.
I mean, that's this entire show compared to animated
Freeze,
series.
Yeah. And I can't remember. Was that one of the ones we watched on the stream?
I don't think we got to that one.
Okay,
that'll be for next time.
Because I legit can't remember a lot of what we watched.
I don't remember.
I know you don't remember, but I also don't remember.
It's kind of crazy how well The Dark Knight Returns kind of translates to this art style.
Yeah.
Oh, he said the thing!
Oh, he said the thing. Oh my god.
And it's really cool, though, that it's not just doing Dark Knight Returns for an episode. Like, it mixes in a few different things. Like, Mr. Freeze isn't in Dark Knight Returns. And you also get Oracle. You also get Nightwing. It's for one tiny 22-minute episode. It's really cool how much stuff.
Yeah, I mean, really, so far they're just taking, like, the Batmobile and the fact that he's old.
Mm-hmm.
And he looks like the bulky Frank Miller Batman too.
I'm glad they went with Oracle because we didn't get that in. Obviously, we never get that in animated series because Bruce Timm has a weird thing with Barbara.
We don't get that really in the main show except for this episode.
Yeah, but it's cool that we got it.
Yeah. And I think all the action in the show is super well done.
Oh yeah, as an action show, it's top notch.
Which, I like the more sophisticated Batman stories, but sometimes you just need to watch Batman beat up a criminal for 20 minutes.
Well, I'll say that is probably the strongest element of the show that it has over the animated series is that as a pure just action show, it is a really well-made and entertaining show. And
I don't want anyone to confuse what I'm saying is there are some episodes of this that I do think are pretty sophisticated. There's one on our list where where Joker decides Batman is the Joker now and he's Batman. And I think it's really interesting.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, there are some gems in this show.
I tried to pick like the best of the best, like all of my favorites from memory when I made my half of the list.
Its biggest issue with villains, especially in the back half, is just there's so many Joker and Penguin episodes. Do you think people's kind of Joker burnout, for those that have it, maybe start here because he's all over the place in the show?
Maybe.
Probably. I never thought about that.
I don't know how the casting worked or like how the jobs worked for these voice actors compared to animated series. Or animated series, I believe everyone was just like paid and for whatever episode they did, like one episode at a time. Here, I want to say like Tom Kenny and then who's Penguin and Kevin Michael Richardson as Joker. Like I want to say like they had a yearly contract with the show, though I could be completely wrong on that, but it would explain why they're in so many episodes every season. That's just something I've always assumed is like they're probably contracted to have multiple episodes because if they feel like actual regulars and not just we're doing like this one villain this week, you know what I mean? Like I could be wrong.
And the interesting thing with this Batman is he's kind of the opposite of animated series Batman, who's always a loner. This is a Batman that learns to be a team player.
Yeah. Well, animated series Batman definitely has his moments as a team player, but usually reluctant.
Well, that's what I mean, though. This is a Batman that willingly forms a team and like wants to be a part of a team.
This is a Batman that could retire.
Yeah, this has a much more positive.
I mean, I think this episode proves you wrong, but okay.
Yeah.
I said could, not will.
And I acknowledge this is entirely nostalgia, and I don't want this version of Freeze and other things, but him having actual freeze powers and not just using a gun, and just his design with the ice helmet, like I've always thought it was just really cool.
It works for this
like
more heightened, like
yeah,
their Nightwing design is also great.
pretty good.
It's basically just Nightwing. Nothing, no real differences.
Doesn't have the mullet though.
Good.
Yeah, so it's good. So it's one of the best Nightwings. It's better
Well,
than
funnily
the
enough,
animated series one.
because the only reason that Robin can be in the show is Teen Titans had ended at this point, but that show
Yes.
also does a Nightwing episode,
Correct.
and their Nightwing design isn't as good.
I agree. That's not the best Nightwing look. But part of what's interesting about this episode, beyond just being a fun romp, like, oh look, here's these characters, 20 years in the future. We also get this wraparound story of like 100 or 1,000 years in the future, where people are like rediscovering the Batcave and trying to figure out this legend, this myth of the Batman, and we get to see like what they're right about, what they're wrong about. Like it's what elevates this episode for me from just being a cool epilogue to like, oh, there's actually some meat here. Like
There's stuff
there's some
going on
interesting
here.
things. Yeah.
Exactly.
And there's that added tension, at least if you're a kid, of like, oh, is this how Batman dies? Like, is this gonna go really dark?
Commissioner Yin.
Feels like it could go there. Yes. I was gonna mention that when you were talking about Yen earlier, how she disappears from the show, but we do get a little bit of closure with her, with at least that one line of like, oh, she comes back and becomes commissioner at some point. Like that's cool. That's a nice reference. Oh, you were saying, Torgo?
I think I was just gonna say you were wrong, John.
About
Oh,
what?
what?
Yeah,
About
because
what?
Yin's because Yin's mentioned in this episode.
Oh, but this is out of continuity,
We don't see her.
and you don't see her.
Yeah, I know.
Get out of here,
I'm just
you
messing around.
bastard.
Okay. All right, I'll leave.
No, and I like the whole like Nightwing. I like that Nightwing's like, maybe it's time to pass the torch, and Batman's like, no, I'll do it when the mission's over.
Hmm.
If DC had played their cards right, I'll say it. This could have been the next DCAU.
Maybe.
They were building to that, yeah.
Well, because you
I
set
would've
up
been
all
down
the
with
key
that.
players,
Yeah.
give them, maybe a pilot season to see how it goes. A Superman show in this art style would have been great. I mean, hell, look at My Adventures of Superman.
Oh.
That's just a more anime
Actually-
version of this art style.
I
Yeah,
actually
it's
think these sensibilities I probably would like more with Superman than I don't hate them with Batman, but it's not exactly my preference.
I don't know. I mean,
so I don't know. I'd love.
And
to
I
see
just
their
want a Green
Superman.
Arrow show. Like, I don't care how I
Sure.
get it,
Yeah.
but just give me a Green Arrow show.
They could have made a great Green Arrow show because they have that episode later with him.
Yeah, and I really like some of the team up stuff in that last season. And the 2-parter with Superman, it's a classic Batman Superman story.
yeah, which is why it's called the Batman Superman story.
It's the Batman Supermans.
And isn't that what they called the DVD of the World's Finest 3-parter from Superman? Or is that the Batman Superman movie?
I think it's Batman.
That's the
Superman,
Batman
the
Superman movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
So slightly different titles.
That's a commentary we got to do at some point.
Completely
Yeah, sure.
different title.
Because that is like the definitive Batman Superman story.
Oh no,
Although
Mr.
we'd
Freeze
probably
is
do
gonna
them-
kill Batman.
We'd probably do them as episodes because I don't know how available the movie version is.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they've ever put the movie in HD.
They're
Into the
so
crime.
weird about that. They'll put out like 4 copies of Mask of the Phantasm in the last like 2 years.
Yeah.
Put
to be
HD
fair, 'cause
versions of all their shows out. Well, at least their big ones.
Yeah.
But yet we still don't have a Blu-ray for the Batman versus Dracula, or the world's finest movie.
Yeah. Well, the short answer for that is if they do a lot for Mask of the Phantasm because it's Mask of the Phantasm.
Yeah.
And,
Well, it just baffles
the
me. Why
other
would you
movies-
throw a Blu-ray of the one movie for this show and the Blu-ray collection for this show?
Yeah, I'm so upset about that.
Yeah.
It's why
Yeah,
I
I
haven't
know.
bought the Blu-ray yet.
That's why I kind of
Well,
hesitated to pull the plug on it, but I want it. I do want it.
I want it too. When they take the show off of Max, that's when I'll pull the trigger. Go, okay, I guess I'll buy that.
Yeah,
show.
go
Watch
ahead
at
and do
that point; it'll be out of print.
Yeah.
Oh god. Yeah, well, what annoys me about the Batman set, even though I don't really like the movie, it probably should include Mystery of the Batwoman, but it just doesn't for some reason.
I thought you were about to tell us you didn't like the Batman versus Dracula.
No. I mean, for Batman the Animated Series, they have Phantasm and Sub-Zero, but not
Just for that one.
Batwoman.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
Once again,
But
we
now-
have a Dark Knight Rises story where I doubt the fact that Alfred is alive.
Although this Alfred in the main timeline doesn't really look that old, so I can kind of buy it.
Well,
Right.
it's 20 years past the present day of this
Yeah.
show.
I don't know if you guys know this, but
So-
their Gordon, I believe, is Mitch Pileggi,
Okay.
who was on like the X-Files, Supernatural.
Oh, nice.
He's
is that
probably been
for?
in something you've seen.
Maybe.
How do you guys feel about the Batwave?
It's weird. I like it as an idea, but when you think about it, it's like, wait, but how does it know?
It makes sense if the simple explanation is, oh, it's just him tapping into like the radio for
Yeah.
like police notifications,
scans.
like
Yeah.
police scanners. Yeah, like that's what it is. But it can kind of just do whatever in this show.
Yeah,
And it
it's
feels
just
very
like,
toyetic.
a crime is happening right now. Like, okay.
Yeah, it feels like you need to buy a toy that has that light up screen.
Yeah.
And it's like, look, I got the Batwave toy. Like, it feels like that's what it's designed for. But it's also their
That's
stand-in for the bat signal before that comes in.
Yeah.
Because they weren't allowed to use Gordon at first.
Yeah.
So
Which
it's gotta work
baffles
around
me.
that.
I don't.
Yeah,
I don't even
we'll,
think it. I think it even didn't. I think it turned out really well, despite that. But it's just
I
like,
agree.
why would you greenlight a Batman show and then not let them use Gordon?
Well,
Yeah.
it's the whole bat embargo thing where they couldn't use certain characters, which I don't. There's certain ones I don't fully understand. I don't know enough about that whole thing.
Well, the two arguments for it, one was, well, we don't want certain characters to be overexposed and diluted, and I understand that one to a point, but the other one is, well, but if people see Ra's al Ghul in the movie and he's not the same as Ra's al Ghul in the cartoon, then kids are going to be confused and not watch it. And it's like, what?
Yeah.
Like,
No,
it's just dumb argument that they
kids
make.
are not thinking about
I
that.
just
at all.
realized that this Mr. Freeze, at least in the future, has like no legs.
Correct. It's kind of a Beyond homage.
I like that
TNB
human
homage.
moment.
I like
yeah,
the red
like,
skies.
He just had like a Willem Dafoe Green Goblin moment where he's like, oh,
Oh.
yeah,
But yeah, that's what's baffling about the show. It's part of the reason it exists is because we know a new Batman movie is in the works coming out, so we got to make a cartoon
yeah,
to tie into that. But we don't actually want to. And again, I'm glad this isn't canon with the movie. But then to say, well, we can't use Scarecrow because Scarecrow's in the movie and it'll confuse people. It's like, just what? It's so
yeah.
weird.
That's a lot worse than what they did with the animated series, where they were just like, make them look like the villains in that
Worries.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's a better
Which
appro-
makes
that's
it
still-
awkward, or just
that's
makes it
still
hilarious
awkward,
with how inconsistent they were. You can't have two
Yeah.
Scarecrows, but we can have two Supermen at once.
Yeah,
Yep,
it doesn't make
That's
any
correct.
sense.
Yeah, the only exception they made for obviously was Joker because it's the Joker, and then they overcompensate because, like you said, he's in so many
He's
episodes.
in everything. Yeah.
Which, like I said, we'll see what episodes we get to tonight, but that doesn't fully bother me because one thing that I really like about the show that it does kind of differently from most of animated series is what this show does past the first season is tons of team up episodes. So yeah, you get Joker and Penguin a lot, but they're at least usually paired with another villain. So that's why stuff doesn't bother me as much because you do get a lot of cool, interesting villains in this show, in my opinion, who do pop up a few times.
This is where I discovered where I first learned of Clue Master.
That's true.
Yeah,
and
I
that's
think,
the one.
This is probably the first time I heard of Cute Clue Master too. Yeah,
Yeah, and he's very different from the comic, but something.
it's something.
Yeah, it's funny because season 1 is Clue Master, and then season 2 is Riddler, and then we always just use Riddler after that because we don't need to bring.
Who cares about Clue Master?
But that is the trade-off with the bat embargo, though. Is like we at least got some interesting, weird characters like that in the show.
And we got Robert Englund Riddler.
Yeah.
If only he didn't look weird.
We'll get to it potentially.
I wish they would at least bring Romano back to do something.
I don't know what he's doing. I don't know if he's retired. Like he doesn't have a lot of credits recently. But again, that's one of the things with Mr. Freeze I think is interesting this episode. How he's a villain who's capable of like hiding out in a place like, okay, screw it, I'm gonna go to sleep for like 100 years so that there's no Batman for me to deal with when I wake up. But so it's obviously convenient that works out for him, but it's still a neat idea that you have a villain who's capable of doing that. Like, you know what? I'm just gonna peace out until this Batman's gone and can stop bothering me.
He was just in Yakuza Like a Dragon and the Super Mario Bros. Movie.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I forgot he had a credit.
Okay.
That's up.
I don't know who the hell he played, but
I think he's one of the family members. Yeah, I think he's one of the family members of Mario. I forgot about that.
Needless to say, that movie didn't stick with me.
I thought it was okay.
It was fine. Oh my god, there's 4 of them.
There's 5 of them.
5 Batman, a new graphic novel by Jeff Johns.
The sequel to 3 Jokers, 5 Batman.
So this is a neat idea how people are going to keep the legacy of Batman going, well into the future. Yeah. And so the big statue.
The only thing that's weird with their Dark Knight Rises. The only thing that's weird with them doing the Returns Batman is the Batman doesn't have that big ass chin.
Yeah, now he has it.
Now he has it for some reason.
It's
got plastic surgery.
Well, that was season 3, episode 7. If you're going by the Max numbering, Artifacts. If you're watching this after the fact in the pre-recorded video, because we will be uploading these separately, consider hitting that subscribe button and throwing us a thumbs up. And we will see you guys next time. If you're watching this live, stay tuned. We're just picking another episode.
Just about time to spin the wheel again.
It is time to spin the wheel, and no, it was like that episode sucked.
No, I really like that. Was one of my picks. I like that episode. I was just kind of watching it though.
Yeah, it's hard not to.
It's hard not to just watch it.
Stop the timer. Reset it. All right. Wheel.
Okay.
All right. We can remove artifacts so that we don't get it again.
It's in the can.
1 in the can. 1 down, 25 more to go.
I don't know how many John added.
I only added 2.
You guys,
okay.
You guys are going to be here to do all of them, right? After
of course.
I'm committed.
Season 2,
Jared.
episode 9, Fleurs de Mal.
Oh, that's one of my picks.
Season 2, episode 9.
Yeah, no, you guys picked most of the ones that I was going to pick anyway, so I was like, that's fine.
I'm not going to say who the villain is in case this is a blind watch for anybody.
Okay.
I've seen this whole show, but it's been a minute.
Semi-blind? Yeah, I was gonna say semi-blind. Like I said before, I haven't seen the show in years, so I do not remember a single thing about this episode.
Yo, what's
it is
up,
a Batgirl
Jareth?
episode, I'll say that.
Okay.
Cool.
Cool.
All right, I gotta update the episode title.
And
Reset
Jareth,
the timer.
you watching the Batman with us? The Batman?
The Batman.
Season 2,
04,
episode. What? Oh, season 2. This was episode 9.
Yeah, episode 9.
F
I want the
L
weird, hard to spell title.
E U R S.
Folly Adieu, I think it's called.
Email. Fuck you.
Did I tell you about the old Batgirl comic I found?
Yes. you
And
did.
when I
So-
that like
so
broke my
we're-
brain when I saw that.
So we're reviewing that before Joker 2 comes out, right?
Sure. As a
All
bonus
right.
episode.
Is everybody at timestamp 0?
Yes, sir.
In 3, 2, 1, play.
So how do you guys feel about their Batgirl in the show?
I
I
like
really
both
like
their
that
Batgirl
Torgo
and their
Watch.
Robin a lot.
Yeah, same.
It's very year one where
yeah.
if I remember correctly, she just kind of irritates Batman until he lets her join the team.
Yep.
Yeah. It's weird that they do Batgirl before Robin. I guess
That
was
is
the Teen Titans
because-
thing.
Yeah,
Right.
Robin couldn't
Yeah.
be in the show.
Yeah. And here we have Mayor Adam West.
Yay.
The show copied Family Guy.
Yeah, it's secretly part of the Family Guy universe, in case people didn't know.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure Batman has been in Family Guy, so there you go.
Yeah, I want to say this was the last season he was in. I don't think the mayor's in the last season or two.
Yeah, I don't remember. I think I don't think he comes in after a while.
Maybe he got impeached.
Are we?
Probably.
Is this the superior theme?
No,
Cherith,
this is
I never
Sami
watch
Zayn.
along. I just listen. Fair enough.
Yeah, when Batgirl comes in is when the theme changes. For some reason, the mayor's like their only carryover character as far as their original characters go, because like Yin disappears, Bennett goes away for a while, the Chief's gone because Gordon's in. The mayor's like our only like made up for the show character that kind of carries over into this season.
Oh,
'Cause there is a
speaking of
big
terrible
shift in
designs, their Bane is terrible.
Their Bane sucks.
focus.
Why does he
I
turn
guess
red?
That's true. Why does he turn green in Batman and Robin? Who's to say?
Because that movie is peak.
Yes, but this Bane never wears a trench coat over his
this Bane
his
never goes
Venomized version.
bomb.
And he never says bomb, yeah.
I think he wears a trench coat when he's skinny, though. So that's something.
How do you guys feel about the
The show.
Batmobile in this?
It's fine.
It's
about
I don't know yet if we're gonna see his first Batmobile or his second one, because this is the season where he gets a new Batmobile, but this might be after that episode. I like both. I think I prefer the first one just because it's a bit more unique, but I like both fine.
I can already tell this is a Poison Ivy episode.
I was gonna say.
What? This is how the mayor always acts. He's very
Yes, he's always twitching.
I mean, it is closer to Adam West from Family Guy.
That should be a twist to one of these episodes. Is Batman's like so convinced it's Poison Ivy or a villain, and the twist at the end is, oh no, the mayor just lost his mind. He just
The
finally
mayor's
cracked.
just insane.
He's not being
Yeah.
possessed by some super villain.
Yeah, I would love that. Hopefully, Cape Crusaders does something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't remember that they changed the theme this early into. Well, I guess technically.
Well, you
got
got to remember this is season 3.
This is season 3,
Yeah,
right?
technically 3.
Yeah.
Well, and there was a big creative shift behind the scenes. A lot of people who worked at the start were dropped. A lot of new people came in. There was a lot of creative overhaul in the background. This also maybe when they changed networks.
Okay.
So
I
yeah,
think
this
they-
is
did
like
they
the
change
transitional.
networks?
I can fact check that, but I thought they did.
So I thought it was always on WB Kids for kids.
You might be right.
Kids WB.
No, it switches over to Cartoon Network near the end.
Really, that's
it does.
interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yes, it was on Kids.
Well, that
WB
makes
at the
sense
start.
though, because this kind of wave of DC cartoons that we had as a kid, 90% of them were on Cartoon Network, like Teen Titans, Young
Teen
Justice.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then
Brave
we
and the Bold
eventually
was on
started getting a lot
Cartoon
of
Network.
reruns. Yeah.
So because I watched this show when it was on, but I am terrible at keep remembering to watch things. Like started The Boys and then I forgot to keep up with it. So this isn't a show that I finished until years later on Netflix.
Yeah. Yeah, I watched all of it when it finally came to Netflix, but I did watch some. I do remember watching this on. I'm pretty sure I watched this on Kids WB or whatever it was called at the time.
Yeah.
I don't remember watching this on Cartoon Network, but I don't know.
Why?
Okay, here's the penguin.
This
So
Batman's
Boys
a
like
little.
this penguin.
This Batman's a
Tom
little
Kenny.
quippier too.
He is a little quippier, yeah. Which I don't mind.
It works for this version.
What do you guys think of Tom Kenny's penguin voice? Because I don't know if I'm a fan.
It's not my
It's
favorite.
hard. It's hard for me to be objective. It's just nostalgia.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, it's not really an objective thing. I just find it a little annoying.
I mean, it's
Sure,
annoying,
that's
but
just me.
I kind of have that same thing I do with Harley Quinn, where it's annoying, but I think it's supposed to be.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And this is
My
a penguin.
favorite
It definitely
thing-
annoys Batman.
My favorite thing
Yes.
about this show is that their penguin is apparently a martial artist.
Yeah. So why not? I think that's fun.
No, I mean, I will say I think this is probably one of, if not the better adaptations of Penguin that we've had.
Hey, I'm just
Yeah.
saying, if Colin Farrell's penguin starts doing kung fu in his show, that's gonna be the greatest show ever.
I mean,
Yeah.
Matt Reeves has to make it happen.
Make it happen, Matt.
Oh, speaking of Matt Reeves, did you guys see they canceled that Arkham show?
Oh no,
that's,
they did.
that's canceled entirely now?
Yep.
Oh, that's a
Oh.
bummer.
I was looking forward to that.
That could have been so cool. What a weird development that show had. First, it was
Yeah.
going to be part of his universe. Then it's going to be part of the
Yeah.
James Gunn DC universe. And now it's just not.
Well, before
That-
even before that, before it was an
And-
Arkham show, it was a GCPD
Holy
show.
No, that was a
Holy
separate
shit.
show.
Penguin
These
just
are going to be
died.
two separate shows.
Yeah.
Are you
that are now
sure?
both canceled, I guess. Yeah.
I thought they
Yeah,
retooled that. Okay.
So I remember. I think at first they announced like a GCPD procedural
Hmm.
show, and then later it was they announced the Arkham show, and I was excited for both of those.
Oh, okay. So see, I thought that the guy that
Yeah.
was doing the
Oh, God.
GCPD show left.
Oh my god!
That's horrifying. And then they
starting to get
retooled
trolls,
it.
too.
Jareth
don't remember
Gearhart says
that.
it seems like this show got overshadowed by animated series. Never hear anyone talk
It
about
did.
the show. It did,
It did.
which is
Yeah,
unfortunate because I think this is more like we talked about this at the beginning, but I'll just run through it again for a minute. I think this show is more consistent with than animated series. And even if the villain designs aren't good, I can't think of a single villain that I really dislike other than maybe Bane, and I don't care about Bane in the first place. Whereas I don't know, some animated series characters can be hit and miss. They arrested the Batman.
Not the Batman.
Yeah, no, this for me was really exciting when I was a kid because I don't know if if either you had this at your schools, but for like school breakfasts or whatever, I remember in my elementary school we'd get these little pamphlets that would have like ads for upcoming cartoons, and that was my first ever image of the show. I was like, what? There's a new Batman cartoon show?
Oh, cool.
coming out.
You went to
Like,
a
that's
very
amazing.
different kind of school than I did.
Yeah, I never had that.
I don't know
at
if
my
they still
school.
do that.
Yeah.
But they'd also have like crossword puzzles, like stuff. Like
The
stuff
coolest
like
thing that I ever
That's
discovered in elementary school was that if you put chocolate milk in your cereal, it tastes better.
Well, a lot of kids didn't know how to do that. But yeah, I
think
remember
I did that when I was a kid too.
but yeah, I remember watching the show like day one when it started, except I missed like the first half of the pilot, which made me sad. But then I was
No.
pretty consistent with the show, and any episode that I missed on TV, because at the time I was confined to whatever I could watch or was able to record on VHS. But whatever episodes I miss, I would then get to watch when I bought it on DVD. Like this is one of the
Nice.
first shows I remember being pretty consistent, like following. Like I don't think I ever dipped out for a long time. Just
Yeah.
so once the DVD came out, I got to see the episodes I missed, and I just got each season and really enjoyed it.
I had that with Yu-Gi-Oh for a while. I had the
Mm.
entire first season on VHS tape.
The
And then my
superior way to
buddy
watch television.
made me like a bootleg copies of the entire show.
Nice.
And then I was
bootlegs.
also with that with Dragon Ball. I had almost the entire series on VHS tape.
That's it. Like bought or recorded off a TV?
Bought. Like I bought almost the
Oh my
entire
God.
Dragon Ball Z show on VHS tape. I was only missing, I think, 2 arcs.
Nice. I think the first season, which I have behind me, the first season of this on DVD might be the first DVD I ever bought, like with my own allowance money. Or
I don't
whatever.
know what the first DVD I ever bought was. The first
I'm not
Blu-ray
sure
I ever
either.
bought was Inception.
Oh, good choice.
Mine was The Dark Knight.
Oh, also a
the
good choice.
Blu-ray. Yeah. 2 Nolan movies.
This is a fun Poison Ivy plot, though, replacing people with plants.
Yeah,
Yeah.
animated series does this too, but it's just fun. It's worth doing it again. I also
Well, you
don't
can do a little
mind
bit
this
more
take on Ivy.
because this show gets a little,
Oh,
I don't want to say edgier,
Yeah.
but it's able to do things that animated series couldn't.
Sure.
Daddy's green.
But yeah, it depends. It's so weird, like what they could do and couldn't do. Like guns, this show couldn't do. There are always tasers or laser guns or whatever.
Yeah.
So animated series
Which,
had that over this.
If I can be
It's
honest,
really weird.
maybe that's just because of the era that I grew up in, Spider-Man and the animated series, X-Men. Like, I kind of prefer that. There's a charm to that with those animated shows that I like.
Yeah, it depends.
I think in a Batman show you need real looking guns if you're gonna do like gangster characters.
Yeah.
Which to be fair, this show
Which
doesn't
this
really
show
do
barely
that.
does. Yeah.
Yeah, but like something like Beware the Batman kind of it's distracting when they have laser weapons.
No, like with this show, this is very much a supervillain driven
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
show. I forget, are they officially working together yet, or is she still just like forcing her way into the?
nah. She's doing it on her own and butting in basically. Yes.
I was not expecting that.
I hope that's a gif.
That should be, but without the part when she turns into a plant.
Yeah,
Just Batman punching an
an
old
That's
old
like
lady.
that one. The only thing I know about Brave and the Bold is there's that scene where he's like, that one villain is like, you wouldn't hit a lady, right? And Batman's like, the hammer of justice is unisex.
Yes. Bam.
Ooh. I can't wait to do
Oh
it.
my
Yeah.
god.
Oh my god.
This is
Pod
just
people.
Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
It is.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
But no, this show, what I really like about this show is it goes to those monster places. Like,
Mhm.
Noah, have you seen the big Hugo Strange episode?
In this, yeah.
Okay.
It's been a while, but yeah.
Yeah, that's a great one.
And this
I like to
Poison
say-
Ivy design isn't terrible.
Yeah, she's pretty good. It's not my favorite take on Ivy. They make her a lot younger, and the big backstory they add is her and Barbara being friends, which is unique to this show. Like, I don't need that again, but for this show it works.
After the Suicide Squad kill the Justice League, this Ivy's
my God.
fine.
Yeah, sure.
I don't want 10-year-old Ivy ever again.
That's a thing we've done surprisingly a few times now that I think about it, because there's also Gotham. I was
That's
also
true.
thinking.
Wow,
of
but that's
that.
that entire
Although-
show.
Yeah, that's
and
just
they
the
age her up.
first part.
Yeah, it's weird.
That's very weird.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
I don't
this
want-
Ivy at this point is like 18, maybe? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
she's Barbara's friend, but she is older than Barbara, so I'm not quite sure exactly.
I'm
how old
also
she's
kind of. I mean, just thinking about it, I'm also struggling to think of a Poison Ivy animated design I do like love. Animated series is fine. It's not what I would think of.
This
I
is
think
probably just definitive Poison Ivy for me.
I think I like the new Batman Adventures one more, but I think I'm in the
And I don't know
minority
what
on
that one looks like, to be fair.
Yeah, that's when they give her like the more pale skin and make her look more.
See, I like it. I think I like a Poison Ivy that looks more like is more green.
I think I do too.
And that might just be because like the Arkham series maybe has the best Poison Ivy.
Well, it depends on what you're looking for.
It depends on
I'm just saying, like
That's a good one.
with Arkham Knight, they kind of bring. That's the one thing that game does really well is kind of gives her an ending.
I remember liking that stuff fine.
I do like that.
She has a good design.
Because she spoilers for 8-year-old game. She sacrifices herself to save the city.
But no, she gets reborn in Suicide Squad.
Fuck Suicide Squad. That game's gonna die.
I don't know why this subtitle that was funny. The subtitles of Penguin's antics just said scatting. It's like, is that what he's doing? Like
I also love that everyone literally calls him the Batman.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah,
consistent with that.
He's the Batman.
When I was a kid, I thought that was really cool for some reason.
It goes kind of back to that urban myth of Batman when characters in the universe refer to him as the Batman.
Well, and I don't know if you guys had this, but as a kid, after I watched Begins, where he does that, like, the Batman, I thought that was like a reference to this show for some reason.
That's funny. Killing
because it kind of sounds like how they would say it in the intro for the first two seasons.
For the first one,
Batman.
The Batman.
Hey, Batman just got out of the Matrix.
It's the Bat. That is. I need you to put a gangster saying that somewhere in your movie.
It's the freaking Bat.
It's the freaking Bat.
That's why we can't use AI for like NPCs because you lose that.
Yep.
I mean, it would make game development easier, but I'll miss the like.
I love the
stupid things they have to say on repeat because there's only so many lines you can record.
That's one of my favorite aspects about the Arkham games is the thug interactions. I love that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Just adds so much personality to those characters.
Yeah, for sure.
But you know what does bum me out? We were talking about this a little bit earlier with them not being able to use Scarecrow. You had Robert Englund right there. Robert Englund. I do like his Riddler, but him as Scarecrow is like the dream.
Sure.
And I know he's an injustice, but that doesn't count. He would have been so fucking good as Scarecrow.
Batgirl jump scare.
Still good.
No.
Yeah, I think this episode's fun. It's like Invasion of the Body Snatchers crossed with the Matrix. A little.
Yeah, I like this episode.
And now it's evil body doubles. And I like this Batgirl costume. This is one of my favorite purple Batgirl costumes.
So I don't typically like the purple bat suit for Batgirl, but this is probably the best one I've seen.
I'll take it.
I'm very much a fan of the classic black and gold.
I think that's the best. I like. And for some reason, we get away from that in the comics really early on. For a long time in the comics, Batgirl's just in gray and blue like Batman. And it's like, you could make her look a little different.
Yeah.
And because that's the year one suit, and I think that also looks fine.
Yeah.
That Robert is also why I don't really like her first suit in Batman the Animated Series.
Yeah.
Before they redesigned everybody.
I agree.
It's just kind of,
it's
just kind of like Batman.
At least there's a plot reason for that. Like it's necessary for the story that she looks like Batman. But then I do much prefer.
I'm glad that they didn't stick with it. Yeah. Yeah.
No, yeah, her redesign looks much better. The one that I don't like for the purple costume though is that I think it was like midway through the new 52 when they sent her to Brightside or
The
whatever.
The
Burnside
one.
And it looks like a cheap cosplay.
That suit works better if it's a Batgirl who's starting out, where it's a makeshift costume.
Well, and
Like
it
that
doesn't help
context
when you're coming off
goes
of
on.
what, in my opinion, was a great Gail Simone New 52 run that was like really dark and gritty, and they're like,
Yeah,
we're
my
gonna
sister
lighten it
loves the
up.
run.
That's what everybody who likes the Batman characters want, a lighthearted run.
Yeah, depends. You need variety.
You can do lighthearted Batman.
Oh my god, they're melting.
What a world!
Also, I love their bat suit. It's very classic, but the bat suit's symbol is obviously made for the show.
I also like the gloves. They got like he's got like pointy fingers, like claw fingers.
Yeah, it makes for that really cool like suit up scene where he like pulls the cowl over his head.
Yeah, I'd like to see a bat suit that has that in the future and something else.
Make it happen, James Gunn.
James Gunn, just do everything that we want that we've said in this stream.
Yeah.
I'm kind of conflicted though, because it's like we're so inundated with stuff we remember and old stuff, like remember this, remember this, remember this. I'm fine with having some things just being left alone. Like, yeah, it sucks that the show isn't as popular as it should be, but I also don't need more of it. I'm like, it's fine. Just leave it alone.
No, I like I said, I don't need more. Just if you made me pick one, you know which one I would pick to come back.
Yeah, that's fair. That's understandable. So yeah, that's the Poison Ivy episode.
That was pretty good. Pretty good. All right, let's give it to the wheel.
That was wait, does that title translate to flowers are bad?
I don't know.
It's like Fleurs de Mal. I think it does. I don't know.
Let us know.
Fact check.
Ugh.
Because I know that mal means bad.
While you do that, I have deleted that episode so we will not get it again.
Okay. It's time to spin the wheel.
We're going back to season 3.
It's a riff on a book title. That's why they called it that episode.
Okay.
So it translates to the flowers of evil. So you pretty much got it.
It was close.
All right. So next is season 3, episode 6, The Breakout.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, it's a Black Mask episode.
I would hope so. Somebody picked it.
It's like, no, we all put like our most hated episode. Okay, so Torgo, you got one more in you?
Yeah, one or two more. We'll see how I feel after this, but I can definitely do this one. But I am all set to go when you guys are.
All right, everybody, get your episode to timestamp 0. Oh, I see a robin in the thumbnail.
Mm-hmm.
Is everybody ready?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
In 3, 2, 1, go.
So this was my first ever introduction to Black Mask, and my first reaction was, "Who's this guy?" I was very confused.
Mine was Under the Red Hood.
The best Black Mask.
Mine might have been Arkham Origins. Now that I think about it. Yeah, I don't.
You didn't see Under the Red Hood when it came out?
Not when it came out, no.
Interesting.
Watch it later.
You're like, I don't feel like it.
Who's this Red Hood guy? He looks dumb.
I don't think I knew about it at the time. I was like 10 years old.
No, this Black
Is
Mask
this
is
the
great.
only serious Black Mask adaptation?
Um,
The only what Black Mask adaptation?
Serious?
well, Origins is obviously a misdirect, but then he is in it for real, and I mean he's played pretty seriously. He's just kind of undermined,
He's just a misdirect, yeah.
and he
I
just
didn't know
has a
whether to
cameo
count
in
that because it's Joker 90% of the time.
Yeah.
I mean, he is in it.
Yeah,
He's
there
just
is a side
yeah.
mission. Side
Yeah.
house.
Okay. Well, we're doing that after Telltale, so we'll see.
Yep.
Speaking of which, not to talk shop on camera, are we finishing Telltale this week?
Sure.
Yeah.
I'll let you know if I have to cancel, but I'm planning on being able to make it. So,
Robert, you're fired.
so that was a quick episode. They captured the bad guy.
And it's
We
done.
can go home.
It's all done.
All right.
So
sure he
really
has
like
no
their
nefarious plan.
Wayne Manor.
Yeah. We also haven't gotten a lot of Alfred yet, but this is one of the best Alfreds. He's great.
No, yeah, I love this Alfred. But to what you were talking about earlier, Torgo, with the claws, that's a very anime thing.
Yeah, I
you
really like
guys
it
ever
for
watch?
a bat-like, creature of the night character. They should bring it back.
Did either of you ever watch the Jackie Chan Adventures?
No.
I saw bits and pieces of it, but I remember it, but I didn't watch a lot of it.
Pretty cool.
I always hear that show compared to this, but I have no frame of
It's just
reference
because-
I've never seen that.
Well, that's just because the same people worked on it.
Hmm.
Okay.
That's why it's got this more, anime.
Yeah.
There's a lot of those shows from like the WB 4 Kids or Kids WB era that I would love to watch, but they're just like lost to time.
That's true. It's
Like
really
instead
sad.
of selling me nostalgia, just let me watch the things that I grew up with.
Yeah.
That is
The
what I will
one-
pay you for.
One of my nitpicks with this season to the end is once Robin comes in. I don't know if you guys can tell, but Batman himself is redesigned a little. He's a little slimmed down. The eyes are smaller. It's slightly more traditional, and I prefer his older look. It's a lot more noticeable when he takes the cowl off. And I don't know if he's going to take off the cowl in this episode, but the Bruce Wayne face changes drastically from
Okay.
the first 3 seasons to now. So you probably
I
can't
never
tell
really
yet,
noticed.
but if you look closely, like the eyes are smaller, like it is slightly different.
I can't tell right now because he is glaring.
Hmm.
I like how short their Robin is.
Yeah. I've always
Tiny.
liked this Robin. But yeah, if we ever see him with the cowl off, I'll point it out. Like when you'll really notice how different the Bruce Wayne face changes. And this Robin looks very similar to the Teen Titans one, which is fine with me because that's one of my favorite Robin costumes.
It's
And
well, I
portrayals.
mean, it's the anime art style, and B, like you're kind of stuck with that one unless you want to put him in those short shorts, which I don't think anybody wants to see.
Yeah, we're past that. But like I said, I do like their Black Mask, and he does pop up a couple more times in the show.
The one thing that would have been cool is if he got to do more future stuff is what does this universe's like Tim Drake look like?
Good question.
Or Jason Todd, although nobody was doing Jason Todd at the time.
That's
Or
true.
Damian Wayne.
He didn't exist yet.
But what if they made him exist?
Well, actually,
He may
Well,
have
actually-
existed by this.
Actually, yeah.
he may
It's
have
like
existed
2006.
before the show was over.
Yeah.
Probably. Fact checking.
That's a run I'm very interested to review with you guys. That is the
We
only
gotta do it.
Batman run that I own entirety in physical.
Oh, cool.
I have
We gotta
half
do
of the
Morrison.
Snyder run.
We got to do Morrison before the Brave and the Bold movie comes out.
That's true. At least Batman and Son,
At least Batman and Son.
which
Okay,
sucks
so
because
if-
that's not my favorite part of Morrison's run. Jareth says, I actually found some old WB Kids recordings on my old VH tapes and was watching Jackie Chan Adventures the other day. Hell yeah.
Oh, that's
nice.
awesome.
Put
So
that shit
if you
on
don't-
Max. Anyway.
So if you don't count Damien as a baby, which was an 80s story from Grant Morrison with Talia, so Damien properly first appears in 2006, and this show was 04 to
Yeah.
08. So it was like right in the midpoint of the show.
Yeah, because I think that's the only Robin none of these animated shows have adapted. We got the movies, but
Well, he's in the Harley Quinn show. I think he's in one of the.
oh, I haven't watched that.
I don't know if he's. Yeah, he's in a lot of stuff now. But we also haven't like had a proper Batman show since Beware the Batman, and that was 10 years ago.
And I mean, you could make an argument that's not really a proper Batman show.
Right.
This is the closest. I would argue this is the closest we've had to a proper Batman show since this show ended.
If Beware isn't a proper one, then I don't think this is either.
How is this not? You have all of the Batman stuff.
They're doing a different take on everything.
But it's not
Okay.
like with Beware, where it's like we're purposely not using all of our big villains.
That's a lot more drastic, I'll give you that, but still, it's like
Their Alfred isn't running around with a shotgun.
that actually never happens in the show. That was just a dumb like promo image.
Wait, really?
Yeah, no.
Well,
I don't think he actually uses a gun in the show, from what I remember.
but I also think they changed some things because of Backlash.
Maybe I don't know.
I think
But
they did.
Torgo, my argument is, especially by the time you get to this stuff, yeah, it's a little more style. It's a different style, but this is basically a traditional Batman show.
Okay.
Maybe by this point.
I'm gonna meet you guys in the middle.
This.
Here's the thing. It's hard to compare a one season show that was canceled to a show that had a full run, because this show does become a more traditional Batman show as it goes. But
Yeah,
that
fair
first
enough.
season was doing some radically different things that a lot of the old school fans kind of felt left out and couldn't get into. So, I don't know. Also,
Yeah, but
Black
I don't
Mask
think
plan
I
to
just
get
don't.
caught.
Oh my God, what is this? The Dark Knight?
Did the Dark Knight rip off the Batman?
Yes.
I can't believe this show ripped off Skyfall.
But my argument with that would be, even from what I've seen of Beware, which admittedly I've only seen a handful of episodes, I don't know if you can ever get that show to a place where it's just a standard like Batman show.
Well, and it wasn't gonna be because, well, but spoiler alert, you get to the end of that show and it's setting up that the next season's going to be more Batman and the Outsiders. So it'd be more of a team show, which would have been cool. And I wish they just started with that.
I would have cried foul. The problem with that, though, at least to me, is the previous show was also a team-up show.
Yeah, but it would have been very different because that was a different team up every week. The Outsiders is like a unified team that Batman kind of guides and watches over.
Yeah,
like that was an '80s comic, I think.
But that was a specific show.
But that was a specific team of like 3 or 4 characters of like Black Lightning, Katana, Metamorpho. You know,
this is
characters
Katana.
like that.
So you got my back.
I learned the other day that Katana in 2016 Suicide Squad is in The Boys.
Yeah, she's Kamiko.
Correct.
Yep. I did not recognize her in The Boys.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
Blew my mind. You mean she could actually act?
She's a likable character in that
She
show.
didn't get anything to do in that movie.
I know that was the point. He's just there. But hey, she had Rick Flags back. That's something.
That's something.
Until she did it.
Yeah.
She's not in the next one.
Yeah, and then he dies.
He dies.
The important thing is that she had his back, and her sword traps the souls of its victims.
When we do that, we got to do like a double feature commentary for Suicide Squad and the Suicide Squad. Knock it out.
I thought you were about to say we have to get drunk.
Oh God.
For that.
That too. No, I don't think Robert ever wants to see me with alcohol again.
We'll
Depends
see.
on what it is.
Depends on what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, but this is what I'm talking about, where some of the censorship is kind of goofy. Like, I like Black Mask's goons, but instead of
They all
having
got
guns, they got
sticks.
nightsticks. They got glowy nightsticks, and it's kind of silly.
Yeah.
It's not that threatening.
Especially, yeah, because of my point earlier, like, these are the more, like, thug gangster characters. They should be carrying guns, you know?
Well, but I think you could have gotten away with it in a show this stylized doing the laser guns.
Yeah, sure.
And it's been so long since I've watched this. Do they do just a straight up Robin origin, like he was in the circus, his parents were killed?
Yeah.
Yes.
It,
I put
it
that
sticks pretty
on
close
the
to
list.
Mhm.
I
It's a
put
good
that on the list. Yeah. And Kevin Conroy plays his father.
And Mark
That's cool.
Hamill plays the villain.
Awesome. It's strange to think there was a time where it was like, yeah, we may never get like those two back.
Yeah, this is before Arkham Asylum.
Yeah, and then they were
We
just in
didn't know.
everything after that.
Yeah.
I am not complaining, mind you.
No, I love those guys.
I even like half of the Killing Joke movie. I know Noah likes the first half, but it's okay.
No. Does anyone like the first half of that?
Yeah, you do. You told me.
It's not even half. It's like a quarter.
Brian Azzarello likes it.
He does. And he'll
Oh,
I
get
love this
mad
like
if you criticize it.
weird dude wearing like a Splinter Cell 3 goggle.
Voiced by Dietrich Bader, who would go on to voice Batman in The Brave and the Bold.
Hey.
Huh?
And then Harley Quinn.
That's true.
I don't know enough about that voice. I've only heard clips, and I was like, this isn't great, but maybe it'll work like when I watch.
Oh, I love Dietrich Bader as Batman.
Yeah, he's a great voice actor.
Especially for Brave and the Bold. Like, it fits that material.
The Batwave.
See,
You
I
used
I
to
like this
call me-
episode.
Just to
You
call
just
me
call
on the
me.
bat phone.
I like that this is their like diehard Assault on Precinct 13 episode, but with Robin and Batgirl.
No, I like the
Yeah.
like it's
Like, it's a fun
finding a
show.
way to take like the supervillain oriented formula of the show and use it to do some ground level crime stuff.
Mhm.
And this Black Mask design is awesome.
Perfect.
You should have used him more instead of the Penguin.
Very great. Yeah, he shows up 2 more times.
Or you should have cut down the amount of Penguin episodes and gave those to Black Mask. Still have some Penguin episodes.
Yeah, I mean you have to have the Penguin.
You gotta have the Penguin.
God, I'm the Penguin.
You gotta have the Penguin.
You just killed those guys.
They're fine. No, well,
Well, that guy I don't think is
Oh.
fine.
he got it. We're good.
Speaking
I
of
think
Assault on
the-
Precinct 13, have you ever seen that movie?
I still haven't.
Yeah.
That's on my Carpenter watch list.
I've seen that.
It's pretty good.
I've seen the most iconic scene from that movie, as everyone has.
Oh, Wilhelm.
I want a vanilla twist.
No, like it is insane how good this animation is at times.
Mhm.
I think it's shows like this that really make me hate the state of like modern animated shows where they all look as cheap as possible.
We're getting better.
Yes.
We're starting to get some new ones. But
We're
God,
making
there was like
My
a
image-
decade.
So
Crap.
I haven't really I don't really keep up, but I have started watching My Adventures of Superman, and it is a step in the right direction.
That show looks pretty good.
Some of it just looks a little flat.
Yeah.
At times.
Yeah.
No,
don't
I
disagree.
really like it so far.
No, the worst stuff is that glut of Disney Marvel stuff Where
Well, I mean, I would
it's
argue
like,
that starts with with like Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon.
I don't know if I agree with that because I mean,
That
remember Disney
starts with
buys
like
Marvel.
Teen Titans Go and
That's all around the same time. That's over a decade ago.
shut up. No, it was just yesterday. Um, no, it starts with what's that show that everybody loves that everything tried to ape for the next like decade?
Steven Universe.
Steven Universe. It starts with Steven Universe.
I knew
So that show
immediately
looks
what
like
you were
shit.
talking about.
And then but it was popular, so everything tried to be Steven Universe for like the next decade.
That's true.
And it all
We got
looked
a
like shit.
Scooby-Doo cartoon that tried to look like that.
I like that his mouth doesn't move. That's a nice touch.
It's a mask.
I feel like I've seen versions where the mouth moves a little bit.
You're thinking of Under the Red Hood.
Under the
Okay.
Red Hood, yeah.
It all comes back to Under the Red Hood because that's the best
But
black
it's
mask.
the best one.
It's the best Black Mask, yeah. But for like modern animation, yeah, we are going in the right direction. But you get something a little mishmashy like X-Men '97, where all of the action scenes look amazing, but then everything else is like stilted. All
To
the
be
dialogue is
fair,
like stilted, yeah.
it's at least pretty consistent with the original show, which granted was hand drawn and this is digital, but the original show could be pretty stilted. So
No, fair enough.
People are still
blend
arguing with me about
seamlessly.
the voice acting in that show, by the way.
Oh, why?
Oh, really? Ever since you did the video?
Because I said it wasn't bad, but I think Wolverine sounds bad. And everybody just keeps telling me I'm wrong.
I think he's fine.
You're wrong, John.
I don't know.
No.
I think he's the one. I don't think he can do that voice anymore.
He's also enough of a side character that it doesn't bother me. Maybe it will.
Yeah,
in
that
future
just makes me sad too. Like that's the best X-Man, and you just got him.
Eh,
You can't do anything with him because it's a kid's show.
I love Wolverine, but I've got plenty of X-Men content where he has more of a, lead role. I'm fine with him being a supporting player.
Well,
Okay.
the one the other one that's pretty divisive is Rogue in '97, where
And
I think
I think she sounds fine. Maybe more older, but I can hear that same voice.
Sure, she's noticeably older, but it's such a great performance that I don't care because she gets a lot of great stuff to do. Where I'm like, I'm glad it's the same voice actors because she gets so much more to do, and a lot of good drama.
Yeah, no, she's great.
Oh, this is a great scene. Very good, number one.
Oh my god. You can't do that on a kid's show.
That's my favorite scene. You're my new number one.
He did the Bob Gunn thing.
You did. It's great. He does a similar thing in a later episode where he straight up kills the guy. I'm like, oh my god, they got away with that.
It's always baffling to me what censors will like let people get away with.
It's never consistent.
No, there's a well, I'll save that for later.
He just punched that child.
John, Jareth agrees with you that the Wolverine voice is rough.
Yeah, it was really sad. And I think I'm more affected by it because that Wolverine is kind of like Kevin Conroy to Batman. Like, that's who I hear as Wolverine.
And I don't have that, so that's probably why I'm less...
I don't have that either.
Why I'm less phased
by it. That's because you just watched X-Men the animated series yesterday.
For the first time, yeah.
Yeah. I have that... I don't have it, like, as a negative, but it took me a minute to get used to their Magneto voice because... That Magneto from the original show is also like who I hear as Magneto.
I think the guy in '97 is good though.
He is. He's not the original guy, so I had to adjust.
But I think I grew up on hearing Steve Bloom more than anyone else as Wolverine. So I'm used to hearing him as Wolverine a lot of stuff.
It's gonna explode.
Well, that was a ripoff.
Huh?
Where's the kaboom?
Oh, have some
Where's-
guts.
Yeah.
I like that
Where's
he has the
earth
staff.
shattering kaboom?
I like that he has the staff.
I do
Yeah, it's
too.
very similar to the one on the Teen Titans cartoon.
Now I just want to watch Teen Titans.
We'll get through it. It's a great show.
Noah, have you
Yeah,
ever
yes.
seen that?
I've seen a little bit of Teen Titans. Not the full series.
It's good, and I
We'll
want to
get to
revival.
Teen Titans. We'll get to Teen Titans Go as well.
Ah, God.
No. You two can do that on your
24-hour
own.
commentary. God, we couldn't even do that whole show in 24 hours. It's been going
And
that
that's still
long.
going.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure
How?
it is, yeah. It baffles me that version of that show took off.
Anyway, that was
Yeah.
a pretty good episode.
It's fun.
Pretty solid. All right,
Yeah,
it's
I-
everyone's favorite time.
I think this is the time where I might have to bid you all adieu.
Oh, okay.
But yeah.
You
But
bastard.
it was fun watching it was fun watching the Batman with you guys. Wish I could
was.
stay for longer.
We'll do
But-
more down the road. This isn't good. We'll do another the Batman
Yeah.
marathon. at
Whatever
some
you
point.
guys don't get to tonight, we can pick up on at some point
Yeah.
later. But
Yeah.
yeah.
We'll see you Sunday.
Yeah, I'll see you guys later. Have a fun time.
Yeah, later.
For anybody watching, we are not leaving. Just Noah is. But Robert, let's take maybe like a 5-minute break, stretch, get some water if you need it, and then we'll come back.
Yeah, sounds good.
What's going on, everybody? Robert, wake up. Can you
Hello?
hear me? Hello? Can you
Hello?
hear me? I can't hear you for some reason. Did
I
my
cannot hear you.
Discord mess up? Hold on. Technical error, folks. Technical errors.
Right in the live chat if you can hear me.
You're talking,
Yes,
so why
I
can't I
cannot
hear
hear you.
you? One second.
And now I'm alone.
Testing.
Sorry, folks. Technical difficulties.
Hello?
I can hear you.
Now it's picking up my mic, but it's not picking up my. One second, chat.
Well, I can hear you. Can the chat? Can you hear John?
I just turn. Say something. Testing. Nope, now it doesn't want to work at all. Hold on.
Can you hear me now? Oh, damn it. For your Jason X footage. That's absurd when it's in black and white. There's no audio. Come on. Come on, YouTube.
You guys could hear me because I'm running it through a different mic. I couldn't hear Robert for some reason. And the posters are flipped because my camera is flipped because it looks better this way.
Or you're an insane person who buys specialty flipped posters.
That is also true.
We'll never know.
All right, Robert, are you ready to spin the wheel?
Spin that wheel, sir. 3 episodes down. Going by fast.
It is.
Feeling good.
I
It's a
got
lot
some
faster
peanut
than
butter and
Smallville.
some crackers. That's true. But we're not doing 12 hours. At least not yet.
We'll see.
Season 2, episode 4, A Fistful of Felt.
Ooh, one of my picks. I like this one.
X. Season 2, episode 4, A Fistful of Felt. Trying to figure out who that might be, like who the villain might be just based on the episode title, but it's not coming to me.
I'll let it be a surprise then.
All right. Is everybody at timestamp 0? You were so close to Strange Minds. I know. I'm excited to do that one, Anime.
It's a good one.
Is everybody at timestamp 0? I say as I am not at timestamp 0. For those just coming in, we are going by the HBO Max order. What episode was that?
Episode 4. Yeah, so if you're
I was
watching
looking
this
right
on
at it.
if you're watching this on DVD or whatever, this is really a season 3 episode, but on Max, this is season 2 for some reason.
Isn't this
Or
episode?
we're going by the Max order.
Yeah, so Anime, we're going by HBO Max order, which combines season 1 and 2. So there's only 4 seasons on Max instead of 5.
But every episode is there. There aren't
Yeah.
any missing episodes.
In 3, 2, 1, go.
Dramatic music. And I like the show's Gotham a lot. It feels very unique and specific.
Yeah, we got Scareface. Scarface.
There you go. I love
Max
Scarface.
is making things unnecessarily confusing. That's true.
Yep. And I think Homer Simpson is ventriloquist and Scarface in the show. I'll double check that.
That is definitely something you should fact check.
Dan Castellaneta. How do you feel about Scarface? Do you like ventriloquist?
This is the only one I've seen.
Oh, okay.
It's just such a weird idea.
Yeah.
I kind of dig it. Anime fan says I do really like this episode. I wish he'd been in the Arkham games. You could have done something cool
Yeah,
with that.
like you get a bunch of Scarface cameos, but we never get to see the ventriloquist.
I will say though, I don't like the puppet design in this.
It's not as good. What I like about it is that an animated series or like classic Scarface is looking at like the 40s original Scarface movie. So with this one, they update it to look more like the Al Pacino 80s version. So that's fun. Like I at least get the reason behind the take on the design. But I do prefer the animated series version.
Anime fan says I think that the Batman has a solid take on ventriloquist. Yeah,
I do too.
I don't know. They don't really reinvent the wheel with him, other than like everyone else in the show. He's a master martial artist, apparently.
Well, not as much though. Like season 1 has a ventriloquist episode that's pretty good. It's pretty standard, but then it ends with the giant Scarface robot, and it's like, yep, it's just that kind of show. Mm-hmm. This is a show that's going to do a giant Scarface robot. This one is a more traditional ventriloquist Scarface story, and I think it's really good. And yes, it is Dan Castellaneta voicing both ventriloquist and Scarface, and his Scarface voice sounds a lot like his Krusty the Clown voice, so that's how I made the connection. It's not too far off from Krusty the Clown if you're a Simpsons fan.
Do you like how gadget heavy this Batman is?
Yes, I think it works.
Anime fan says this is the last episode to have Frank Gorshin as the voice of Hugo Strange. They all got recast because Frank Gorshin sadly passed away the year the episode aired. Oh.
Yep.
I'll have to take a listen.
I like Scarface with the flamethrower.
I like the giant penny reference.
Yep. That's how he gets giant penny. Yeah, I want to say it's a season 2 episode when we first see Alfred. Like, it's Alfred in the show who's collecting stuff and is, like, making a museum out of the Batcave. And then we actually see him amass it. Like, this is where we see him get the giant penny. I think that's fun. And there's Hugo Strange. And there's Penguin again. And Joker. Though this is our first time with this Joker tonight, because none of our first 3 episodes of Joker.
Which is shocking.
But then you get like the episodes like this doesn't count as a Joker episode. Like he's in one scene. Like the cameo's fine.
No, and I always like stuff like this, just seeing the villains interact with each other behind bars.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a fun setup. And I love that even Penguin's like weirded out by him. It's like, I don't like this guy.
I don't love their Hugo Strange design, but I do love their Hugo Strange.
He's great. Even though Joker and Penguin appear in the most episodes, when the show is all said and done, you can make the argument that like this Batman's arch nemesis is Hugo Strange. Because it feels like he gets the most significant episodes, even if he's only in 4 or 5. Like every Hugo Strange appearance counts.
Yeah. Yeah, I love seeing the villains interact with each other, anime fan says. Oh, yeah? Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm fine with that. I think the Joker is a very important villain in Batman's Rogues Gallery. But with how different this Joker is, this isn't a Joker that pushes Batman to his limits other than maybe like 1 or 2 episodes.
Yeah, and then, of course, we just saw in the future episode with Barbara Gordon as Oracle. For some reason, it's hard to picture this Joker doing that.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like in this continuity, Barbara Gordon's paralyzed in a completely different way.
Jareth Gearhart says nothing beats Hamill for me, but as Joker, however, this one is a close second. I would probably at this point put him as my 3rd favorite. I really like Under the Red Hood.
Oh, John DiMaggio, I think.
Yeah, his Joker has really grown on me.
But yeah, this Joker was super controversial when the show started. A lot of people hated the design, they hated the dreadlocks, they hated the new costume, but I think the voice is like perfect. I think he's a really
Have
great, unique Joker voice.
Have you seen TMNT 2012?
Not much of it.
That's their Shredder.
Oh, that's cool. He's in so many
perfect.
things. That's perfect casting.
No, that show is awesome and is low key like one of the best adaptations of that material.
Yeah, I've heard that show's great.
Anime fan says I love Kevin Michael Richardson as Joker. He's great. And I was just young enough that I didn't care about any of those things that pissed people off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the new Batman Adventures is a very similar episode of this, with ventriloquists reformed or attempting to reform. And if he succeeds, and this episode has a really different spin on that.
And that's just a show where the villains we don't do that a lot in the show.
Right, yeah, we don't do that a lot. So that kind of makes this episode stand out for me.
This isn't really a Batman that wants to help his villains.
Oh no, he is so distrusting. He's like, this guy sucks, I'm gonna take him down.
I could see this Batman becoming the Dark Knight Returns Batman.
Yeah.
Jared says, I also like his voice in Red Hood. Forget about that because I don't care for that movie. Oh, really?
Oh, it's one of my favorites.
I think you're the only person I've ever met that doesn't like that movie. It's not perfect by any means.
No.
But it's one of the better DCA, like, animated DC movies.
Mm.
Batman at least once. I mean, Anime fan says that Batman at least wants to redeem Clayface because that's the only villain, arguably, maybe other than Strange, that's like personal for this Batman.
Yeah, that's his best friend, so he has a bias.
To Batman, the rest of these villains are just crazy people that he beats up on a weekly basis.
I think Ventriloquist has always resonated with me just because he's one of the few villains who is like overtly, like clearly mentally ill and has a defined condition other than just being evil. And he's really sympathetic, and I've always liked that he's one of the more like genuine sympathetic villains who you want to get better.
Well, in this version, if I remember correctly, their ventriloquist disappears after a while.
In this show?
Yeah.
This might be his last episode. I don't remember if he might just get like one cameo after this.
Jared says, I just hate the Red Hood story. It's better in the film or in the comic, though. It is better than the comic. I am not a fan of Red Hood outside of Under the Red Hood. And Morrison does some cool stuff with him, which honestly is what the status quo should have been. I don't know if you know this, Robert, but in Morrison's, he's kind of like the Joker to Dick Grayson's Batman.
Right. I've read that stuff, but it's been many, many years. I'm looking forward to rereading that. That was like one of the first ongoing I ever started reading as a kid that I was really into, was when Dick Grayson was Batman and Damien was Robin. I love that stuff, but I haven't read that in a long time.
I'll one up you. My first ongoing was the Ultimates, and I started with issue 9. I had no idea what was happening. Anime fan says a lot of the villains disappear in this episode in the series. For example, Bane only had cameo appearances after his first episode. That's because their Bane sucks.
Yeah. I mean, I like that episode, but yeah, this isn't.
But I think that's why the show is mostly known for Joker and Penguin. They're the only ones that keep coming back. It is one of the negatives I will give the show is they have, in my opinion, some cool ideas for villains, and then they just don't bring them back.
I don't entirely agree with that, because you get a few Riddler episodes, you get a few Mr. Freeze episodes, you get a few Firefly episodes. Like, there are there are a few villains who appear several times.
Yeah, and I mean, I like their Croc.
There aren't that many just standalone Penguin episodes. He just guest stars in a ton of other villains episodes, so that's why it feels like he's used a lot, because he gets so many cameos or team ups. Look, I love the scene.
Is because you know that show better than I do. It is Ventriloquist in animated series.
Yeah, he's in a few episodes there and one or two in New Batman Adventures. He's used really well in that show.
This is a character I'd like to show up somewhere. No, I think Nolan could have done this in Begins.
Yeah, that would have been fun. I love the scene with him finding Mr. Snoots in the fridge. It's so morbid.
This episode is insane.
I love that, like, Strange is just messing with this guy. Like, this person he's supposed to be helping as a patient. And he's just messing with him just to get to Batman. Or to test Batman, whatever his motivation is. I just love the
Strange is
insanity.
low-key becoming like one of my favorite Batman villains.
He's great.
Between like this, Arkham City, and as weird as it like feels to say, Gotham.
I've heard that Strange is good.
Say what you will, but the Strange is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
He's also insane. Wait, you haven't seen that stuff?
No, I haven't seen any of the Hugo Strange episodes.
I'm surprised.
Yeah, I dipped out of the show before that, but we'll get to it.
You dipped out before the good stuff.
That's what I hear. Season 2 lost to me.
Which is shocking. You made it through 10 seasons of Smallville.
That was a different time. Also, with Smallville, I binged that whole show in like less than a year. I wasn't watching it weekly as it was coming out, so it was a very different viewing experience. Watching Gotham weekly was like, am I sticking with this? Am I sticking with this? Like,
I had that with The Walking Dead.
Yeah, and I've always said that show binges better than watching it weekly.
We've talked about this before, but for everybody who's not aware, I start that show like when it debuts, and I'm watching it week to week. And then you get to season 2, and it is just miserable.
And that's one of my favorite seasons because I binged it all in 2 days.
Where could the little girl be? Find out next week. Oh, we didn't find her this week. Yep. Find out next week. Oh my God, just get to the point.
Yeah. Would you agree that Scarface is more terrifying wrapped in the skin of this Muppet creature?
This episode is insane.
I love it. I think he's just a hard villain to write for because he can't pose that much of a threat to Batman, really. So you gotta use him sparingly.
I mean, if it was me, I would just have him be like the brains, and then you get somebody for the muscle.
Yeah, we do that sometimes.
This Batman can teleport, apparently.
Yeah, that was some cheap animation. Just we don't need an animated movie. Museums never last in Gotham. And this is also really similar to animated series, because in that show, Ventriloquist also has like a couple of thugs who are the same ones who stick with him all the time.
That's one thing that always like makes me laugh with superhero stuff. Is like, why do you keep coming to work for this guy?
Joker is the most egregious for that.
Anime fan says I want Hugo Strange to be used more often in Batman adaptations. That would be awesome.
He should. He could have been in that Arkham show. That's now not happening. That makes me sad.
Reeves could do a hell of a Hugo Strange.
Yeah, he'd be great. I just want to know who the villain of that movie is going to be.
Anime fan, Hugo Strange is only in one episode of Batman animated series, but I think he's in 7 or 8 episodes of the series.
That's no, he's in a few. Oh, Hugo Strange. Sorry, I thought he was talking about Ventriloquist. I retract that. Yeah, Hugo Strange is only one, but he
Do
does
you
get
read?
he does get a cameo in Justice League Unlimited with plans to use him more, and then they couldn't use him more because of the bat embargo. It's so stupid. So yes, he's in one episode of animated series, then gets a cameo in Unlimited, and then never shows up again. It's really annoying. And this is one of my favorite scenes where Scarface thinks that Ventriloquist is a Stitch, so he's gonna have Ventriloquist killed. The thugs are just rolling with it. They're like, it's what the boss wants us to do.
Well, and there's a sincerity to this, like, you know, in the early 2000s, we didn't question this weird shit. It was weird. We liked that.
Mm-hmm.
Now everything has to be self-aware.
Yeah, there's no meta jokes. They play this completely straight.
It's the bat.
I think that's part of what I love too. Is Ventriloquist doesn't have like the usual dissociative identity disorder you see in media, where it's like, no, these two are in a toxic relationship, and I think that's great.
Jared says, I wouldn't be surprised if Hugo Strange is in the Batman too. That'd be cool.
See, now Batman's rooting for him. It's like, come on, man, fight it.
This might be the best episode we've watched so far.
Yay! Oh, this one. Yeah, and like I said, we were talking about this earlier, anime fan. Like, Hugo Strange isn't in this show as much as Joker or Penguin, but almost every episode he's in, like, really matters. So he feels like Batman's arch nemesis in this show. I think
Wait,
he's
the
in 5 or
orange one
6
can talk? Oh.
Oh, now they're fighting each other.
What is happening?
It's epic. I love it.
That train is going like 2 miles an hour. That's not going to hurt anybody.
And Batman
will.
just killed these guys. And now he has a chainsaw.
Where did he get that?
I don't know. It's so absurd. I love it. Yeah. I think Scarface is more fun than Mr. Snoots.
Mr. Snoots is a snitch. This is a great Batman Hugo Strange moment. He's like, hey, I'm watching you. Yeah, glad you enjoyed that. It's a weird episode. No, that was great.
Yeah, getting a lot of episodes this season.
Season 2 and 3.
Yeah, that's all we've gotten so far. I'm glad we're getting variety, though. It's not like we got 3 Joker episodes in a row.
True.
We've had a good variety tonight.
All right. It's everyone's favorite time of the night. Let's spin the wheel.
Spin that wheel.
Oh, I need to delete
Uh,
the episode that we just did.
we're chipping away at it.
There was,
that wheel looks insane.
what was the one that we did just before that?
Was it the? Oh, it was the breakout. The black mask one.
I know, but I'm trying to remember if I deleted it.
Oh, it was called the breakout.
I did not delete it.
I did
All right.
not.
Here we go.
Woo!
Season 2, episode 11, Thunder.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, we're getting all 2 and 3 today. This is one of my. This is another one of my picks. I think it's pretty good. It's another Batgirl episode.
We do like a good Batgirl episode.
If you know in the chat, don't spoil who the villain is.
Yeah, because I've watched this show before, but I don't remember a lot of the details from each episode.
Yeah, you remember more like the vibe and feel of the show than like
especially and then
episodes.
certain episodes like the Batman Superman episode and
yeah.
All right, is everybody at timestamp 0?
I am.
You don't matter, Robert. Jeez, no.
Oh.
Again, as I say, as I'm not at timestamp 0. I don't matter either, apparently. In 3, 2, 1, play. I have so much fucking editing to do tomorrow. I have like 3 different games recorded for my personal Let's Play channel that I haven't even edited down yet. Plus, I streamed some more Evil Dead over on Haven of Horror last night.
Oh, nice.
I got it hard, man.
Oh, is it fun or just frustrating?
Fun. It kind of reminds me of like Resident Evil, where they just drop you in a location, in this case, Dearborn, Michigan, and you have to figure out how to get through it.
That works for Evil Dead.
Mayor Granger. Wait. They do Maxi Zeus?
Yes, sir.
That's awesome.
This is the only Maxi Zeus I ever thought was cool.
You didn't
This
like the
show's
one in
really
Arkham Knight?
What? I forgot he was in Arkham Knight. Oh my god. Wow.
I only remember that because I was like, what the hell is he doing here?
Yeah, this show completely reinvents him and goes for more of a Roman soldier angle, which I think is fine. He's got a big ship. Yeah, so he's running for. Yeah, he's running for mayor, and it's now like, maybe I'll just take it by force. I'll just win the election that way.
Jared says my predictions for Batman Part 2 villains are Hugo Strange, Harvey Dent, not Two-Face, and Clayface.
Those are all very likely. What I hope is that we get Dent in the second movie, but then we build up to him being Two-Face in the third movie. That's what I hope they do.
Like what Nolan should have done.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Because if there's one thing I think is a really big thing you could lob at The Dark Knight as a criticism, their build up to Two-Face is awesome, and then their Two-Face is good.
Yeah, I think as a self-contained thing, that movie works fine. I still like the ending of that movie, but like I get it. That's a conversation for another time. But
We'll do a whole like the Batman Part 2 speculation once we get a trailer.
It's just like it could be Clayface or Mr. Freeze or Strange, but like I don't know. I have no idea which one.
And we might
people
even
are
have more of an idea of like after the Penguin show where that's going.
That's true. Yeah, it would be really cool if at least a couple characters introduced in the Penguin show show up in the sequel. Like just
What's
to make
up,
the show
AMC?
better, you know. Hey, finally made it. We're on the Maxi Zeus episode, which
The
John's
one
very excited
in the
about.
title above us.
The Thunder. Yeah, we get a pretty comic accurate Maxi Zeus in like one episode of animated series, and I've always thought that was one of their lamer episodes. I've never cared for that one.
I mean,
But
let's
it's
be
kind of
honest.
funny.
Comic book at straight Maxi Zeus is
I've never cared for him. But I like this one. And unfortunately, he's a one-off. This is a villain who never appears again. I think this is the only episode he's in.
honestly that might be for the best.
I like this one.
And now to sell you a new toy.
Yes. This is a very toyetic series.
Honestly, though, I'm fine with it. Like, I want that toy.
Mhm. Did you have any merchandise from the show? I had quite a bit. It took me a while to get just a good Batman figure who just looked like Batman, who didn't have a weird miscolored outfit.
Funnily enough, I stopped collecting toys really young.
Oh, okay.
And it's because I discovered video games.
That's fair. That makes sense. I still got that collector gene. I collect more stuff
I mean,
than I need.
look at my movie. That's only one of my movie shelves. And that pile that's sitting there in the front is just the newest haul that I got that I haven't watched.
Yeah, this one's a little similar to that Black Mask episode where it's Batgirl like in a location, trying to help out. It's
Honestly,
kind of a
Maxi
story.
Zeus would be a better Batgirl villain than a Batman villain.
That's what I wish they did more with a lot of those like C-list Batman villains. Is like just do more cool stuff like with the Bat family.
Well, all of the
they
Bat
did with
family
Blockbuster.
members get their own solo books. Put them in that.
Yeah, like they did with Blockbuster and that Nightwing run we reviewed.
I don't know what you're talking about. Blockbuster's like an S tier villain.
But yeah, let us know in the live chat. Is there a good Maxi Zeus comic I need to read? Am I missing
These
out?
guys kind of
story.
remind me of the Time Lords in Tennant's Run.
I don't watch Doctor Who, but I think I know what you're talking about.
So
I have a vague idea of what you're talking about.
Slight spoilers, but they bring in Dalton for an episode.
Ah, that's great. Yeah,
and he doesn't do anything but sit in a black room.
Oh, no.
But that episode's awesome. I think that's Tennant's last episode. Noah would have to correct me. Jared said, yeah, I had a weird green and purple Batman figure from this show.
Yeah, the first Batman figure I got, I don't remember if it was for my birthday or for Christmas, but it's like a green astronaut suit, something he never wears in the show. And I was like, this is cool, I guess.
I remember as a
kid.
My first Batman movie was Batman and Robin. I bought it from Marsh's, which was like a grocery store here. I don't know if they had those ever in California. They don't exist anymore. I'm old enough now that I'm mentioning things that no longer exist.
Oh, no.
And it had like a toy commercial at the beginning of the movie, because of course it did. And it had like the toy Batmobile, the toy, Mr. Freeze. I was like, I want all of that.
Mm-hmm.
I got Power Ranger toys for Christmas instead.
Yeah,
I wasn't complaining because I loved Power Rangers, but
yeah, no, I remember watching Batman and Robin on VHS, and they had that up front with all the action figures. I'm like, I want all of these.
Anime Fan says Maxi Zeus is discount King Tut, but I still like him.
They're very similar.
Well, and there's some villains where I'm like, why are these villains like Humpty Dumpty?
Yeah, and he comes a lot later. Yeah, but Maxi Zeus in this episode, it's like, he's not really crazy. He's just gonna be a rich guy who's, I mean, he's insane, but more in a, I'm just gonna blow up Gotham to take power. Insane. He doesn't think he's Zeus or whatever. He's a little crazy, but crazy in a different.
But here's the $1 million question, Robert. Where's Condiment King?
I don't know. This is before he became a meme.
I don't know about you, but I'm so fucking tired of Condiment Man.
We need to stop. The joke stop.
Why is it that he has to be like? Why do we want him in everything?
And the frustrating part is it's you always play it like a joke, like, oh my god, how stupid! I can't believe somebody thought he was a series villain. It's like he was invented as a joke. He was created as a parody of those older, more stupid Batman villains, and now it's like flipped around to him just being one of those. It's really weird. And I'm like, okay, we're done. Bring the eraser back.
AMC or Anime Fan says I'm tired of Condiment King too.
I don't mind him in the Harley Quinn show because he's like Kite Man's arch nemesis, because of course he is.
I hate Kite Man.
I like him in that show. But that's another one. We're done. It's over. Okay, a Kite Man I guarantee you will like is Brave and the Bold Kite Man, because he's voiced by Jeffrey Combs and he's awesome.
I'm sold.
That's a great Kite Man.
Well, are you gonna watch the Kite Man Hell Yeah spinoff?
I'll probably watch it, but if it doesn't grab me in the first episode or two, I might dip out.
There's no way that show goes more than a season. They have one joke.
Right.
The fact that he's Kite Man and says hell yeah.
And I like that Harley Quinn show, but I have fallen off. Like, I didn't watch the last season. I still need to catch up.
We'll get to it eventually.
This episode is also this show's first appearance of their Batwing, which isn't my favorite, but it's kind of cool. They just never had a story where they needed the Batwing before this. They use the sub a lot, though.
It just doesn't look like enough of like a bat.
Yeah, it's the show leans more into the tech, like futuristic look than bat theming. Even with their Batmobiles, like there's not a lot of bat theming going on in the Batmobiles.
I mean, I'd argue most Batmobiles don't have like a bat theme. Maybe the 60s one, because it literally has a bat on the side.
Well, and like the 89 one, like has the wings on the back of it. Or the fins, whatever you want to call them.
That looks more like a TIE fighter.
It does.
I will never forget when I was in 6th grade. I had someone pull the. Well, you're a real Star Wars fan. What does the TIE and TIE engine stand for?
Oh no! Who cares?
I was like, I don't know what that stood for anything.
Oh
my god! No, the worst thing that that someone pulled with that is so we would trade manga at school a lot. And I would bring like Dragon Ball, but somebody else would bring Death Note. And I was immediately interested, just if you know anything about my taste, like the look. I was like, well, can I read your Death Note? And I knew I was going to regret asking because it's a kid I couldn't fucking stand. And he pulls out the last volume. And the last chapter, it says, if you can understand this, then I'll let you read the rest of it. What? And that's why I couldn't stand that kid. Bruce, why do you have a mask under a mask?
Because Batman.
It's the Red Hood thing that always makes me laugh. He pulls off the Red Hood helmet and he has another mask under.
I wish he kept that helmet on though. He looked kind of cool.
Have you seen the one of the Killer Croc episodes where he just straight up has the 89 suit on?
Yeah, where it's like, I mean, there's still like a dash of blue to it, but yeah, it looks very similar to that, where it's mostly black.
Man, playing Arkham Knight is going to be so interesting because there's so many suits in that. Like, I feel like we could play forever and not get through all of them.
That's true. I mean, there are a few bad ones. There are a few stinkers in there. We can ignore it.
No, I'm going to play the whole game in that Beyond suit.
Oh, no. Yeah, it's like I said, this is a much more tech-based Maxi Zeus, and I think it's kind of fun.
Anime fan says, I noticed that Torgo's listed in the description, but he's not on screen. He had to go.
Yeah,
He was
only
here
available
earlier.
for the first few episodes.
Yeah, he doesn't like us anymore.
We had a huge falling out.
It's all Robert's fault, but he
That's
blackmailed me into supporting him. No, this Zeus looks awesome. His
I like
henchman,
this design.
his henchman, not so much. It reminds me of I think I've told you this before, but for anybody who's watching, the Percy Jackson books, they have that first 5-season series run, and then he does a sequel series that's focused on the Roman mythology. And the way he explains it is because obviously, you know, the Romans just ripped off the Greeks. Is when it switched, because the gods rely on humans to like believe in them to keep them going. It switched them like almost like a split personality.
Oh, that's cool.
So like all of the Greek gods exist, but they have another side to them that is their Roman counterparts. And like the Romans have their own way of doing things in their own camps and everything.
Did you ever watch the 80s Clash of the Titans?
No, the only one I've
seen the
seen
remake?
much to my is the remake.
Yeah.
And however old I was when that movie came out, I thought it was awesome.
So did I. I was so hyped for it. Me and like 2 other people. But the 80s one's better. I love the 80s one.
Is that 80s? I thought it was much earlier.
I think it's 80s. But it's like it's
'Cause
very
that's
throwback
Harryhausen.
with the whole. Yeah, like with the stop motion and everything. I mean, I'll double check.
AMC says, very true, Robert. To my knowledge, the only other notable appearance was later in Artifacts. He's talking about the Batwing, which we already covered.
That's true. We've already seen it.
Is the Batwing in that?
Yeah, I think Nightwing was in it.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, Clash of the Titans was 81, but it was around like Conan the Barbarian, like those type of fantasy movies.
For some reason, I always just think that's a lot, or like I associate Harryhausen with like the 40s.
Oh no, that's fair. And like I said, it's very throwbacky. Like that's what it wants to look like. You know, it doesn't want to look like an 80s movie.
Yeah. So AMC, we are going by Max episodes, and they combine season 1 and 2, so everything is 1 season back.
Yep. He said he'll break her. He said the Bane line.
I think it was Power Rangers back when Power Rangers was on Netflix. Mighty Morphin did that, where like the second, and third season were just one really long season.
Yeah, there were other shows that did that, and it was always really weird. But yeah, also for clarification, that Clash of Titans was the final movie Ray Harryhausen worked on. That is his final credit. So
even more reason to watch it.
I need to
and
see.
You know, it's funny. I loved that remake. The only thing I remember from it now is the big trailer line: "Release the Kraken."
Yeah, with Liam Neeson.
Yeah. God, what happened to Liam Neeson's career, man?
I don't know. He's gonna be in that Naked Gun remake. Hope that's good.
Well, and I finally watched Possession, which is a fucking crazy movie. But did you really want to remake it?
Yeah, with Pattinson being on board, like gives you hopeful, but it still feels like, but why though?
The only
And,
thing
like,
that makes me like not completely dread it is that's not a movie you announce as just a remake to make a quick buck.
right.
Like,
This,
nobody knows what that is.
best case scenario, it's a Suspiria situation.
Yeah.
Where it's like a filmmaker with a real take on it.
Worst case is it's the Crow remake.
No, well, we haven't seen it.
It looks so bad. Even the fucking star of the movie is like, yeah, I don't like the ending.
Oh god. So this is happening.
Yeah.
I don't know how we got here, but I'm having fun.
This is what happens when we don't talk for a week.
So, have you ever reviewed or done a commentary on The Crow on the channel?
No, I've kind of went back and forth on doing that because I think that's close enough.
Yeah, I still need to watch it.
The movie's awesome.
I almost bought it on Blu-ray because I thought I needed a copy, and then by sheer chance, I was recently looking through my Blu-ray collection, and I have like this 5-pack of random comic book movies, and it's on there, and I was like, oh my god, I completely forgot I owned The Crow, and I've had this for like 10 years. Because the reason why I bought it was because it had Kick-Ass on it.
Mhm.
It has Kick-Ass, Thomas Jane's The Punisher, Sin City, and The Spirit. So I own
That's
The Spirit.
amazing.
And The Crow. So I own The Crow, and I completely forgot I had it.
I'd be down to do that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to finally watching it.
I love that movie, but I also like I really like '90s edge because I mean that was edgy when I grew up, and I think I finally got to that point where I'm old and I don't understand modern edge because I look at like the remake of The Crow and that just looks embarrassing.
Mhm. Yeah. So that we've gotten a lot of Batgirl episodes on our watch, but this is another like Batgirl kind of trying to team up with Batman, and Alfred's like, she was pretty good. She
Yeah,
knows what she's doing. Oh, this is the turning point episode. This is when he starts to kind of bring her in. But it's not until next season when like she actually knows his identity and is in the cave and stuff. Like that
Yeah.
still takes a while. Yeah. Like you said, this is very year one Batgirl where she just
the
keeps
way she
pestering
wears
him.
that belt bothers me. Why is it lopsided? How does that attach to her
Fashion.
outfit? I love that shot.
Well, silhouettes.
I know what shot I'm using
Right.
for the commentary, for the thumbnail on this. Another another good episode.
Not one of the best episodes, but I think it's fun, and it's unique because it's a total one-off. I think that ventriloquist episodes are still your favorites so far.
Yes.
I love it. But well, we'll see what's next.
Who's ready to spin the wheel?
I'm ready.
So, I'm just gonna delete.
Thunder.
Here comes the thunder. And spin. You were worried we had too many two-parters. We haven't gotten a single one of them yet.
Sure. Until now, question mark?
Season 1, episode 22, Ragdolls to Riches.
Oh, we're finally gonna get the original intro.
Finally.
The finally.
Finally!
This was another episode I picked. I like this one.
Episode Season 1, episode, what did I say, 25? From Rags to Riches.
22.
22.
Ragdolls to Riches.
Dolls. If they made that episode title any longer? Reset.
This episode is 2 villains, one returning and one introduced here.
Groovy. All right. Is everybody at timestamp 0?
I am,
In
sir. Are you?
3, 2, 1, play.
And we got Catwoman.
And it's a better Catwoman design than TAS.
I don't know if I agree with that, but I do like this.
I really don't like the animated series Catwoman.
Oh, you don't like the gray one?
The gray one?
That's one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I find I'm really picky with Catwoman designs. I don't like the purple one that much in Long Halloween either.
Well, this is like more of the...
Hey, look,
black,
it's Pennywise.
This one looks very Darwin Cook with the goggles, but she has the big ears like the Long Halloween one. It's kind of a mishmash of a couple different costumes. And hey, it's the best intro. Let's savor it.
I like how Noah was like, it's just a bunch of notes put together. You mean like a like a song?
I didn't know what he was. I love this. I think
it's great.
I love the atmosphere.
AMC, to your point from a second ago, this is definitely one of my favorite Batgirls. She's great. One thing I think people should give to their Joker is he does look legitimately deranged.
Yeah, I've always liked that.
I really want to know what the original plan for like season 3 through 5 of the show were. The Batman.
Yeah. I've always loved this intro. It also makes me laugh that Bane is in like 3 different shots and he's in like 1 episode.
Although I think there is something to be said that, like, to me personally, bringing in the sidekicks, I think makes for a better dynamic.
It happens organically. At least they took their time.
Because I have that with animated series too sometimes, where like, I kind of wish Robin was in this episode, or I kind of wish Batgirl was in this episode.
Yeah, they're used pretty sparingly early on.
Animated series Catwoman is always treated as more important than she actually is. Is she? Isn't she only in like 2 episodes?
No, she's in 4 or 5, but it's like in Perchance to Dream, where it's like Bruce Wayne, like, oh, he's marrying Selena Kyle, like that's his great love, but you don't really feel that for most of that show. But I do like that Selena Kyle, Adrienne Barbeau's the voice, she's great.
Oh,
an animated series, like, so I like that take on Catwoman. She just doesn't get great episodes.
Yeah,
like she's in Almost Got Him, but I mean, like that's just a cameo.
I do remember Ragdoll. I like him more as an adult than I did as a kid.
I think he's obviously a very different villain, but just aesthetically, I think this costume gives you an idea of like what their Scarecrow could have looked like. You know, just visually.
Is he like a comic villain or?
Yes.
Okay, because I don't remember ever hearing about him until the show.
He might be a Flash villain originally. Yeah, he's kind of a random choice for this show, but I like him. He's in a couple episodes in the show.
That is something I wish we could do more often. I really like when like superheroes have to take on somebody else's villain.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, just as a one-off.
Yeah.
Like, could Superman really handle the Joker?
Right. Yeah. Like, no, we've got a couple.
And apparently, most of the time, the answer is no. AMC says exactly. Robert should have been Andrea logically. I think you can make an argument where he's moved on by the time you get there.
So let me double check her name. Catwoman in this show is voiced by Gina Gershon.
I don't know that name off the top of my head.
She's in Showgirls,
huh?
Which I haven't seen, but I know she's one of the main leads in that. She's
The
in
only-
Face Off.
Who's she in Face Off?
Does one of them have a wife? She plays a character named Sasha, but I haven't seen Face Off.
That's
so
dude.
I need to see it. I've seen parts of it. I just haven't seen it start to finish.
Oh, if I'm awake, if we end the stream in time, we have energy. That is one of my favorites.
But people love it.
Jared says this is a lot better than Catwoman's redesigned anime series, but not as good as her first design. Is that gray costume her first design?
Yes, and I like that one.
I don't like that one.
But I don't like the TNBA one is the one that's like all black and it looks a lot like the Michelle Pfeiffer one, and I think that's a downgrade. I think this is better than that.
No, the gray suit is way
you.
better than this. Holy shit. Why
Yeah.
why does she turn like pale white?
Makeup?
AMC says Ragdoll does make his live action debut in CW's Flash.
That's true.
So
And
maybe
they-
he is a
they
Flash
hired-
villain.
They hired an actual contortionist for that, so that was kind of cool.
That's like with it, that scene where Pennywise is coming out of the fridge. I don't know if you know this. That's actually him.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Something
Ragnar's
we
like
haven't really
fun.
had a chance to talk about. Reno Romano really nails the like fake playboy, like spoiled rich guy.
Yeah, for sure. We talked about this before where I don't know if I really picture him as a good fit for Batman and other projects, but he's the perfect Batman for this show.
I'd like to see him try. And you know,
I'd like to see him back.
bullshit. They're doing the big Crisis on Infinite Earths animated thing. We're bringing everything back.
Yeah, you could put him in that.
What? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've
the
also
cameo I'd be fine
seen
with.
I've also seen one of the clips from part 2, and it's bad. It's real bad.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen the big clip with with Batman.
Yep. I'm gonna wait for part 3 to come up so I can just knock them all out at once.
I've already seen part 1, so as soon as part 2 comes to Max, I'll watch it. Part 1 is so bad.
Yeah. And I know you're kind of sick of Catwoman and Batman stuff now. I do feel she was a little underused in this show. Like, she gets 4 good episodes, but that's it. Like, she appears like one time per season, and then I think just isn't in the final season. So this Catwoman isn't used a lot. As much as you'd think they'd use Catwoman.
And I mean, I would have the historical perspective, I would like to think at least, that this would be before it's like, I don't want to see this anymore. But it also kind of goes into, this show isn't interested in like personal relationships.
Yeah, you get like a couple episodes with that. I think Vicky's only in the Dracula movie.
Jared says he's also Spider-Man in PS1. That's true. And AMC says something about an orphanage.
I'm not sure what he means, but
I don't either. No, but like, how cool would it be if just like Captain Cold made an appearance, or
Captain Cold with Mr. Freeze team up,
or Vertigo, Count Vertigo, or something.
Well, we did do that in TAS.
And Spider-Man and Spider-Man Unlimited. Yeah, but I mean, no Fitzbit, who gives a shit about Spider-Man Unlimited? Like,
he does.
Apparently. Although that does have the greatest ending, apparently, like, of all time.
Yeah, I've heard it's insane. I do really like setups like this, though, where it's like Batman has this criminal who he's going after, but he's also dealing with Catwoman and then double crossing each other. And like, I enjoy this dynamic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is the closest we get to like Bruce and Selina trying to like date, but like not knowing each other's secret identities.
I mean, the best Batman and Catwoman is our Batman and Catwoman in Telltale, where he's like a complete dick, and then she's like, "Sleep with me."
Yeah, this is
That's
probably
a cool
their
shot.
best Catwoman episode. Yeah.
I love that he's wearing two completely different tracks.
Yes. And he doesn't see them. And they're color coded, so you know which one it's from which.
They're very resemblant of the Spider Tracers in the animated series for that. Which confused the hell out of me why he used those, because I was used to like the Raimi movies.
Hmm. Yeah,
No, the big Batman scene in Crisis. No, and I don't want to say it here because it's not out yet, or it's not out of publicly. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't really care. Just let that universe die. You started out strong and then you ran it into the ground.
Yep. This is one of the episodes where I think they have a lot of fun with the animation, just with the way he contorts his body. I think it's really fun.
Why is he stuck all of that?
Because he's plugged.
Oh, that was creepy.
Nah, you get it. Batman's like, I'm sick of this shit.
This is very Returns, unfortunately.
I say fortunately. No, speaking of Returns, they do a Catwoman Penguin episode this season.
Which is a team up I could be interested in if it's done right.
That's part of the charm. It feels like we've kind of been missing with Catwoman lately. It's she just used to like cat themed heists and crimes, and now we've shifted her more into anti-hero. Which
She's straight up just part of the Bat family at this point.
Yeah, I kind of miss the cat themed crimes.
That works in Injustice because you're in such a like insane status quo, and it like ironically, Hush proved why it doesn't work. Like they try to make it work, but they're just such different people.
Well, what I like with Catwoman is the idea that like she is a good person at heart. Like she's not evil, but she just has this compulsion that she just can't overcome. Like how Batman has this compulsion that like he, so that's where
they should be too similar.
Yeah. But I do need to read a lot more of like that Darwin Cook solo stuff. Because I've heard that stuff's great.
Yeah. That's why I was never a big fan of her taking. I don't know how far you got in Tom King's run, but her status quo in that is she took the fall for like mass murder.
Yeah, I barely read any of that stuff. I read like the first couple issues.
Okay, I do not buy that guy is Ragdoll outside of the costume.
He's wearing really baggy clothing.
If I have one nitpick with this Catwoman costume, the ears are way too big.
That's what I was saying. Like, I don't mind them, but they're not my favorite. Like, so they remind me of the long.
They're like borderline ears. Mickey Mouse ears.
Yeah. I like the little dashes of red and purple, though.
Yeah.
And I think Ragdoll is voiced by Jeff Bennett, a legendary voice actor, like Johnny Bravo. A lot of classic Cartoon Network stuff.
I can't really think of anyone I'd say is miscast in this.
No? Yeah, I agree. Batman's like, please let it end like this.
This is why Edna says no capes. AMC says, I do really like Reno Romano in general. Wish he'd start doing more convention interviews. Oh, does he not? I don't know
even
anything
what he
about the
looks
man.
like. I don't think I've seen a picture of him.
Wikipedia
a
just
really
has like a
under the radar
generic black and white old photo.
But I like this pairing of villains who are both thieves, competing with each other, trying to get the same thing.
Yeah.
And Batman, and it just making life more difficult for Batman.
This is a
And
fun setting for the final battle.
Yeah, especially for this villain, it's a good pairing. And I mentioned earlier that, like, at least with the costume, you kind of get an idea of like what their Scarecrow could have looked like. And there's also a season 2 episode with Spellbinder, who's another one-off episode, and he looks completely different from what he looks like in the comics or what the Batman Beyond version looks like. But Spellbinder's also like close to a Scarecrow plot where it's a lot of hallucinations and stuff. So it's like kind of Scarecrow adjacent, at least like with the story in that one.
AMC is what's funny is that Killer Croc and Bane each have like a minimum of 3 voice something. This
Killer Croc's more consistent. Like, that's Ron Perlman for at least a couple episodes. But there might be an episode where he's voiced by someone else. And yeah, Bane, like, he gets one episode and then like 2 cameos where he has a different voice each time.
I mean, that's the thing with Bane is like just because he's there doesn't mean you have to use him.
Yeah.
Wow.
The only villain I'm like not upset the show didn't get to do was Two-Face, which I guess could have been cool, but like the show just doesn't do a lot of like the mob crime or politics.
Hey, I want to see Kung Fu Master Harvey Dent.
They could have done that. And like they obviously just did that story with Ethan Bennett with Clayface, so like Clayface is their Two-Face in the show pretty much.
No, yeah, I've never been upset other than just I want to see the half-burned Harvey Dent go toe-to-toe with Batman in a Kung Fu fight. That looks like he should be dead.
It's fine. It's got no bones. This is the villain Batman has to break his no-kill rule for.
And this is a very traditional Batman Catwoman relationship, which is nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is probably better than like any other TAS episodes. Though I mentioned it earlier, there is an episode with Catwoman and Ventriloquist in Scarface and TAS that's very similar to this, and I think that one's pretty good.
I love their choice of Red Sky.
Yeah, I always love a Red Sky.
We talked about it a lot in our Last of Us playthrough, just red.
Red. We like red on this channel.
Can you pass the salt?
I don't buy that Alfred makes nachos. That crosses the line for me.
I don't buy that Bruce eats them.
Batman does not eat nachos.
Well, I very much see Bruce as someone like in a normal Batman continuity. Like he only eats like healthy things. He doesn't drink alcohol.
And basic. Yeah. He doesn't eat fancy food either. Like maybe if he's like at a party, like giving up appearances, but like he doesn't eat like fancy rich people food. He just eats like the most efficient
Yeah.
stuff. Something really funny about seeing Alfred just give him cereal and milk. Like, Bruce, you lazy fuck, you can yourself.
I also don't see Bruce Wayne eating cereal.
Right. But this is a more laid back, kind of young, chill Bruce, which I kind of like. It's very different. This is Bruce who wears t-shirts a lot.
Yeah. It's very, early 2000s, like, gotta young everything down. Hey, John, Reno is also providing the feed voice lines for Darth Revan and KOTOR. Oh, nice.
That's pretty cool.
Wait. Revan doesn't talk in that game.
Well, he said few lines, so.
Unless it's just like action noises. Is it KOTOR or SWOTOR? Because those are two different things. Anyway.
Yeah, that was Ragdoll Cat1 episode.
I like them. Pretty good. We love the one-off villain episodes, folks.
At least we got through one of Noah's picks before he had to leave. Because these have like all been mine.
You bastard. You heard it here, folks. Robert has rigged it.
All right. All lies.
Oh shit! I've still had KOTOR running in the background this time. I am shocked it wasn't making any noise. No wonder it's so damn hot in my room.
Oh, my poor PlayStation 4. It's so loud when it's running games now.
Time to upgrade, motherfucker.
It's losing energy.
Ragdolls to riches. Let's go. Oh, one of my picks. Yep, The Bat in the Belfry, episode 1.
Wow. Right back to where it all began.
Our first Joker episode.
Yeah. We've had a good variety with villains. I've been pretty pleased with our selection.
S1 E01 Bat in the Belfry. Robert, is there a bat in your belfry?
Not as far as I know.
It's BELFRY, right?
Sure.
What does it say on your episode title, dumbass?
that was correct, sir.
I don't write belfry a lot.
I don't know how to say belfry.
No, in KOTOR. Oh, interesting. I didn't realize Revan talked. KOTOR is Chef Bennett, I think. Oh, I'm actually playing that on my gaming channel right now. I was doing that before we started this. It was back when I liked Star Wars. Anyway, this is episode 1, season 1, Bat in the Belfry.
This is one I don't go back to a lot, but I do like it.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize their Clayface was that fast.
Yeah, he's the season 1 finale.
I guess I didn't realize season 1 was that short.
Well, every season's 13 episodes, except on Max.
That would make this super bingeable.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And is everybody at timestamp 0? In 3, 2, 1, play. I don't remember this episode a lot, but I do remember this being a strong pilot. And we had a green sky this time.
Mm-hmm. one of the first things we see in the show is their take on Rupert Thorne, which is very different from TAS Rupert Thorne. So immediately it's like, oh, okay, yeah, we're doing something different.
Is that who this is supposed to be?
Yep.
Weird.
This is one of the few gangsters we get in the show.
I don't like the green sky as much.
Yeah. I think the earlier seasons had more variety with the sky color, like purple. Some is purple, some is green. And then they just kind of stick to red most of the time.
I like that we start with Batman scaring a criminal.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was going to jump to his death. I don't know what it is, but the green sky just makes it look like everything's on a green screen.
Yeah, it does. And see, he didn't say I'm Batman. He said I'm the Batman. Yep, and I still love this intro.
That's so good.
I'm glad the show has gotten at least a small degree of reappraisal, but I think that's mostly just from people like us who grew up on it. But it's like you just had to be at the right age at the right time, because they show had a real uphill battle to climb, because a lot of people did not dig this when it was coming out.
I'm going to use this as an example because I just finished it. I just finished X-Men Evolution. And I think I would have liked that a lot more if I'd watched it as it was airing instead of now at like 30, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
You know, that show has some weird choices. Is your headset okay?
I don't know if it's my headset.
Do you hear it too?
Yeah. Does my voice sound clear, or is it scratchy?
Yeah, it sounds clear. Just I hear crackling coming from something.
I'm hearing crackling coming from you.
Maybe there it goes.
Okay.
Maybe maybe it was like the thing rubbing up against my beard or something.
Okay. So I think that's an entrance to the Batcave we never see again in the show.
But for whatever reason, so Magneto puts together his own squad, and like that's where you get Colossus and Gambit, and just them working for Magneto feels wrong.
AMC says he thinks this is a stronger pilot than On Leather Wings. I don't agree with that. I love On Leather Wings. They're very different.
I can't really compare them. They're doing two different things.
That's a monster movie, a lot more noir, a lot more mysterious. But in some ways, this has a more traditional start. Yeah, but it also starts more traditional because we're starting with the Joker. Like, that's where you'd think a Batman cartoon would start.
What age is the right one to grow up with the show? Because I got to grow up with the animated series. Oh no, he's bringing up X-Men Evolution. Ah, shit. I was giving it its credit. I was too old. I'm too old for it at this point. Jared, so I was born in 92. And so I was born like literally as animated series was starting. And I mean, at least for me, I don't remember seeing it all over the place. But I saw like, you know, I think I saw Phantasm. I know I saw like Return of the Joker. I saw the Batman Superman movie, but like week to week on TV, I watched this.
I think you may disagree with this. I would call animated series a show targeted at an older audience that like kids can watch, like if they're into that stuff. Whereas this is primarily aimed at kids, but can be enjoyed by an older audience. Like
I would say this is more all ages.
Sure.
If a kid told me they were bored by, you know, animated series after I locked them in the basement, I would understand that.
Yeah, it's a hard show for some kids to get into, depending on the episode they're watching, for sure. Again, and it depends on the circles you're in. Like, I just know adults in my personal life that I would recommend episodes of animated series to. Like, I wouldn't say you have to watch the whole show, but I'd show them Phantasm. And then you have this show where it's like, yeah, you might appreciate it, but if you're not a Batman, like, I don't see this show appealing to anyone who isn't a Batman fan. You know what I mean? Like, you got to be into Batman to be into this.
Yeah, I don't think this would make you a Batman fan.
And not that it has to. It's just it's a family friendly show for Batman. It works,
And I think that is something else that we have to remember. It is okay to just make something for a fan base.
Yeah. But you'd agree that like Phantasm just like as a film,
that's a cool
arguably,
Arkham Asylum sign.
Yeah, I love this Arkham. But like just as a film, I think Phantasm is more accessible to like a wider adult audience, who can just appreciate it as a story.
This guy kind of reminds me of Gizmo from Teen Titans, and it always makes me laugh.
Yes, he looks like a taller version of. Yeah, the Arkham staff have.
And this is very Killing Joke.
Outfits. Mm-hmm.
No, I like that nobody knows why he's here. He's just here.
Yep. He's feeling a bit screws.
TNBA was my first Batman show, but also watching reruns of TAS at the same time. Well, and I say that I might have seen some new Adventures of Batman and Robin because I very distinctly remember that logo of like Batman and Robin's face.
Mm.
But also, when that was airing, I was more into like Power Rangers and Dragon Ball Z and Digimon.
Okay, I don't know if that guy was supposed to be Bruce Timm, but he totally looked like Bruce Timm, the blonde inmate with glasses.
Uh-huh.
And here we have new characters, Ethan Bennett and Ellen Yin.
And I think this was a brilliant idea to have like your eyes in be detectives.
Mm-hmm. And he's an original character until we see where they go with him with the Clayface stuff. And she's like loosely inspired by Detective Yindel from Dark Knight Returns. So we're already kind of pulling some from some.
I remember
sources.
this was in the opening for a long time.
Yes. Yeah, most of the footage in that intro was like just from these first few episodes.
So one thing I've always been confused about, how does he read anything off of that? It's just a picture that moves.
You got to fill in the blanks. It's like when you see text on screen, it's just lines or blocks. Yeah. And you just got to pretend.
No, I kind of dig how gadgety this Batman is. It's not my ideal Batman. I like a Batman that mixes, like, is a balance. Unless it's like Arkham, because then you have to have the gadgets because you're playing a game.
Yeah, because it's a video game. And this is a very toyetic show. Like, they made a lot of money.
That is a beautiful shot.
That looks great. No, this pilot's got
that is also going to be a thumbnail. I thought those were zombies for a second.
Yeah. No, it's the opening of Halloween.
No, but I like because I think it would have been so easy when you're doing a reinvention like this. This is just the Joker. You don't know where he came from. You don't know why he's doing what he's doing. He just showed up and started doing things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you get little hints of his backstory later, but this is a good introduction.
Well, the way this is designed, I feel like I'm going mad.
It's supposed to help people, right? Oh, and here's childhood nightmare fuel.
No, that's terrifying. I don't care who you are. No,
That's
like
the
they go
joke.
to their way to make this Joker scary.
And I like that they soften this design a little. Like second episode, like they change his eyes, they change his eyebrows. Like he looks less creepy after this episode. Like they
Yeah.
do tweak his design after this.
Well,
And
the main thing they do is they get rid of the long sleeves.
yeah, in the second episode they dropped the straight jacket and moved to a more traditional suit, which is fine, but I miss the straight jacket.
Yeah.
It's more unique. I've always liked this look. And again, he knows kung fu for no reason.
I guess we get rid of the sleeves here.
Well, they get torn.
I love how integral Alfred is in the early season. Just love this Alfred in general. He's great.
He's a great Alfred.
The other thing I like about this Joker is he's legitimately funny.
Yes. Got good jokes. That's a great line.
My
like,
jokes were bad.
What are you gonna do? Lock me up in the loony bin? I'm here.
I still just want a Batman movie where he's trapped in Arkham Asylum.
I hope we get that one day. I'd be fine with that animated. You know,
Yeah.
because you just have a lot more freedom with the designs. Like, I just want a really like hyper stylized animated Batman movie.
Kind of like what we're watching.
Yeah. But more stylized, bigger ears, longer cape.
Nah, I
Go
like
nuts.
he needs the shorter ears.
I like a medium. I like a balance. But like in something animated, I would like to see like a more McFarlane looking Batman, just that impossibly long cape. I kind of like some of the more exaggerated stuff.
One thing that I do like about this show over versus like TAS is this like I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but we've got people here now. This is a Batman that grows and changes. Like if you watch just this episode, you're not going to believe that this man will one day, have two sidekicks and form the Justice League.
Right. And again, they're doing
Did you really think that was going to work, Bennett?
The censors won't let me use a gun, so I got to show you my badge.
Like that Robin Williams joke where it's like, the police don't have a gun and you don't have a gun, so it's say stop, or I'll say stop again. And I like that this isn't just his first night out. Like they make it clear he's been doing this for a while already.
Mm-hmm.
Which kind of does make me wonder, like, what is the timeline with those other heroes?
Yeah, it's like, don't ask. It doesn't matter.
I have always liked, and that's one thing I kind of appreciated that Snyder did, is you start with Superman and then Batman is right after. This is a little bit reverse, where it's like you start with Batman and the Superman's right after. I think those two should be the first two like heroes you're introduced to in the DCU and a DC universe.
Mm-hmm.
Even though obviously in like the comics, they're not anymore the first two superheroes.
Right. I think my preferred version is that Superman's the first guy like with overt superpowers, but there have been vigilantes like Batman. Like there have been costumed people running around, but Superman's the first one with powers.
Well, but even then, you still got people like Alan Scott.
Yeah, exactly.
And Jay Garrick.
Yeah, it just depends on the universe you're looking at.
True.
But with what I like with this Batman, because he's on like year 3 or whatever, the idea of it, and part of the idea of the blog is this is a Batman who kind of already cleaned up organized crime. Like all the gangsters and mob bosses, like he's already taken, like Gotham is better, but now there's going to be this slew of like freaks and weirdos coming in that change everything.
That was such a lame like fake out.
Place. Oh yeah, that's
just
classic TV stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then Batman played basketball in like high school. That's choice. But I do like Ethan Bennett as far as the Bruce Wayne Friends characters go. I think he's one of the better ones.
I think this is also this version doesn't live in the Wayne Manor yet.
No, this is the manor. It
Okay.
just looks different.
Whoa, he just like super speeded off the screen.
Yeah, he does that sometimes. Oh, we just got a.
The straight jacket actually comes back for at least one episode after switching to the jacket. Oh,
that's correct. Yeah, there's one season 2 episode where for some reason he's wearing the straight jacket again, except for the suit. But other than that, he's like always wearing the more traditional suit. Which I think I'd like better if they at least changed up the color more. If it was like if they used the black or the white one instead of just the purple one, that could have at least been more interesting.
Yeah, it just kind of feels like they took the reception to heart, and
I think so. Where it's like, oh, people really don't like our new weird take on Joker. Okay, let's make him a little more traditional. Like that. That feels like that's what happened because this did have a lot of backlash.
This is also a very TAS episode.
Mm-hmm. It also feels like just a truncated version of '89, where it's just a very simple Joker trying to gas the city,
but somehow makes more sense.
It does.
I love that there's just a random statue with a very sharp sword in the middle of Gotham. Yeah, I bet you it's not there in future episodes.
It is, but it's always in a different place.
Oh, we're back to the red sky.
Yeah. The geography is not consistent, but some of the landmarks do keep popping up.
I like this Joker while he can fight. He's like a kickboxer more than a kung fu.
Yeah, I dig it. It's entirely nostalgia, but I dig it.
It's just so weird. I can't help but like it. Also, and I do like that it's Ellen that eventually has to like learn to work with Batman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, again, very similar to Yindel in Dark Knight Returns, where that character is very anti-Batman.
Yeah,
at the start. But this show does keep Batman like as a vigilante running from the cops way longer than TAS does. Because TAS, you get that in some episodes and like in Phantasm, that's usually very plot related, like Batman getting framed. And like Gordon's always there to kind of hold the cops back and be like, nah, he's actually cool. Even though he's a vigilante, more of a gray area. But here, it's like for 2 seasons, Batman's just like always having to deal with cops and being outside the law. Which I think we'll get more of in Cape Crusader.
Yeah.
Oh, and there's the Bat sub. Like I said, we get this a lot in the show. Or the Bat boat. What do they call it in this one? And the Gotham Harbor water is green in this show for some reason. It's really gross. That's so consistent. Gross. He stole his balloon. Oh, the poor fish. Wah wah.
We get a little bit of we get a little bit of the scientist Bruce Wayne in this too.
Yeah.
AMC. So, do you guys prefer pointy chin Bruce Batman from season 1 through 3, or square jaw Bruce Batman from season 4 and 5?
We were talking about that earlier. You didn't really notice the differences as much.
Yeah, I will say
It's
I like
subtle.
the early stuff designed the best. Like just looking at it, I don't
It's just
see a huge difference, but
it's more noticeable when the cowl's off
yeah,
because like Bruce Wayne's face changes pretty drastically. And again, it doesn't look bad, but the early seasons just leaned more into that anime influence, and I think just make it stand out more.
yeah. Well,
That's
that
the
was episode 1, season 1.
that in the Belfry. I think the weirdest thing about like the show's legacy is that as it was coming out, I think the general consensus was it got better as it went because it became more traditional. But fast forward to now, and for people who grew up on this show, I think the early seasons are remembered more fondly because it was more different. It just
Yeah,
depends on who you talk to, but I think it has flipped a little in
yeah. I'm
terms
not
of like
sure which one
what
I like
seasons
more.
people prefer. I think every season's good. I
No,
do
I
like the
also
whole
think
show.
every season is good. Um, I could see this Batman being in the My Adventures of Superman world.
Yeah, I could too. Well, and now that we know that show's getting a season 3, I wouldn't mind having Batman and some other superheroes show up in that show.
Yeah.
I'd be interested.
No, I really want give me like anything with the world's finest. Like I love seeing those two on screen together.
Mhm. It would be cool if that show's just like ends up being the Superman version of this, where we slowly introduce more and more superheroes, and then it's like just a Justice League show for the last season. Like that could be cool.
Yeah. If they really want to blow my mind, just bring this version of Batman into that.
That would be insane. Yeah.
Who are you? I'm the Batman.
The problem is this Superman is very different from that Superman. So
He's in like one episode.
he's in.
All right,
two.
Robert, you got another one in you?
Yeah, I'm good. Are you fading?
I'm fading, but I've got some more in me.
All right,
All
we'll
right,
just one at a time.
we'll take it one by one.
Yeah, might be the last one, but stay tuned. We'll see.
All right, Bat in the Belfry. Let's spin the wheel. I'm gonna be disappointed if we don't get the Batman Superman story now that we've talked about it.
Keep talking about it.
Season 1, episode 12, The Rubber Face of Comedy.
Oh well, this is two. So we're doing these two together, right? We're not.
Is this a two-parter? Then yeah,
Yes. Yeah. So we got a two-parter.
that's fine.
So maybe we'll do these two and call it a night.
We'll see.
Okay. But I mean, this is one of my favorite two-parters, so I'm glad. I think both Noah and I picked this one. It was a classic.
Okay. However, I think we are going to take this opportunity to take another break and stretch.
Okay.
Get the wind back in our sails, Roberto.
Yeah.
We'll be back, chat.
We're back. This is a hard show for me to rank because I think every season's pretty good. I think three is probably my least favorite, but we've done a bunch of season three episodes and they're all ones I like. So yeah, now this is a good one to end the night with. Good two-parter. Yeah, yeah. Sorry, sorry that we didn't get to Strange Minds. That's a big fan favorite, but we'll for sure do that one next time we do some episodes for the show. We'll have a few priority ones that we didn't get to tonight.
Uh, let's try that again. This is season 1, episode 12 and 13, the rubber face of comedy and the clay face of tragedy. We're gonna.
Can they hear you now?
Yeah, I fixed
Okay.
it. I forgot that I muted this mic too. So everybody get to timestamp 0 and 3, 2, 1, play.
So this episode has a lot of Killing Joke homage going on.
Oh, I'll
we
have
get
to
to the
keep
end
an
of
eye
it.
out for it. And I think this is the only time anything feels like super personal for Bruce.
Yeah, he doesn't get a lot of like great personal villains in the show. You get a lot of pretty good ones. It's interesting that we're doing these Joker appearances back to back because can you see that it's not just a different outfit? Even his face is a little different.
Yeah.
Like he's got more black around.
Although the
eyes.
suit is more, I would say it's more blue.
That's fair.
But no, yeah, I definitely see that.
My
I wonder what this episode could be leading to.
Yeah, I had a toy of this Joker when I was a kid, except his suit was orange for some reason.
Weird.
Or it was like purple, or there was more orange. But yeah, like I said, I missed the straight jacket just because it was something different. I don't even know what these guns do that the cops have in this show. They look like Nerf guns. I don't think
know if
this is
that's
how
how that
science
works.
works.
No, those cops are just like, what the fuck, man?
I didn't sign up for this. Anime fan remembers it. Hey, we got the good thing we can.
I can't remember. Wow. Yeah.
And like we said, this show is just structured very differently than TAS. TAS is very episodic. You can watch most of them in any order. They're meant to be standalone stories. This is a lot more serialized with like a real progression with these characters and this world that this Batman's in. And when I was a kid, I didn't know where this was going. I thought this was just going to be the status quo. I did not predict this is where we were going with Ethan Bennett. And Chief Rojas is another original character who just disappears after season 2. I guess he was just fired off screen once Gordon comes in.
Wiseman, Greg Wiseman.
Yep.
That explains it.
That explains.
I would have loved to see their take on just a Batman show. But do you ever have this where you're kind of worried that maybe they're like one season wonders?
Maybe, because Greg Wiseman's the one who like always has amazing shows that are canceled after 1 or 2 seasons, but the few times he's gotten to bring them back, they don't stay great.
Yeah,
and it's really unfortunate.
Well, and like Young Justice is never as good as that first season.
Yeah. I've always said that with season 3, though. Like, it's like, for better or worse, it is like the show just kept learning or kept going, but it didn't learn from the mistakes or like criticism season 2 got. It's just more of that show.
And
Just
I had to give up
progressively
because
worse.
they just kept introducing more and more characters,
Yep.
and I'm like, where's the
Yeah.
characters that I care about?
Mm-hmm. And that's the bummer, is because season 2 introduces like Tim Drake, which is cool, but they never have time to develop him. They never have time to flesh him out because we have 5 other characters we got to bring in.
AMC says season 3 does feel like a bit of an awkward middle ground, but season 5 just kind of feels like Brave and the Bold, but not quite as good.
I don't know if I like season 5, though.
They're also
I
doing
like the
different
Justice League
things. Like,
Yeah.
that is a Justice League season.
Mm-hmm. Except when it's not, because there's like 2 Joker episodes for no reason. That where it's like, you don't need these. These don't have any guest heroes. But there's still, in my opinion, a few good just standalone Batman episodes in the final season. Like the Wrath and Scorn episode is pretty good. And like we said, the opening 2-parter with Superman, I think, is very good.
Great.
And the series finale is fine. It's not my favorite. It's probably their weakest 2-parter, but retroactively, because we got that season 4 future episode, it's like, well, it doesn't matter because we already got a great epilogue for the show. So it's okay that the actual series finale is just fine.
It's true. Well, and just what
It's-
a bizarre way to end the show.
Yeah.
Because I've always thought about that with like a Batman show or Superman shows. How do you end it?
Mhm.
Because you'd have to give the character an ending. Like the ending can't just be, well, then they did more stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's, oh well, he's in the Justice League now.
Yeah. I do like Joker's henchmen in the show, Punch and Judy. I think it's fun.
They're great. I love their names. They're so dumb.
And this is when Ethan Bennett just shoots Batman in the face. And the show abruptly ends.
I like that Joker's plan here is just to vandalize the statue.
Again, it's very 89. He's even got the beret. Remember
AMC, that's always been my
That's
issue with Young Justice, so many paper thin characters. But that doesn't really become a problem until season 2.
Yeah,
like season 1 has
one's
amazing
excellent.
characters.
Mhm.
Season 2 just has too many characters.
Yeah.
Because you got to balance the old team with the new team.
I usually like shows that have that drastic time jump between seasons and that kind of progression, but in hindsight, it feels like that was a mistake. Like they just
If you're going to do that,
shouldn't
you
have done that.
have to just keep it focused on that original team. They're just older.
Mhm.
And I really, really hate what they do with Miss Martian and Superboy.
Yeah. Their stuff in season 1's so good, though.
It is. Which is why I hate the stuff in season 2. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, we're just broken up now.
Yeah. Well,
You'll
speaking
find
of
out why
great-
in like a dozen episodes or so.
Well, and speaking of Greg Weisman, God, it still breaks my heart that Spectacular Spider-Man was canceled, even though season 2 isn't as good as 1, in my opinion. But we'll never know. Would season 3 have
But
been
on the
better,
flip side,
or would it have gotten worse?
maybe it was for the better.
Maybe. It still hurts. That one still hurts for me.
And see, I got lucky and I
'Cause I want
didn't
that
watch
show to
that
have
show
an
until
ending.
later. Yeah, no Spider-Man show really has an ending either.
Nope. No. That is the curse of every Spider-Man show.
Even animated series decided to get insane. I forgot to start the timer for this. Fuck.
Oh.
It's too late. It's fine.
All right.
It's fine.
You can add that in post.
Maybe. That's fine. I haven't been recording any of them with a timer. That was just for the stream.
Oh, okay. Sorry, guys.
Robert will give you a timestamp if you need it.
Yeah, we're currently at about 9 minutes, 30 seconds, give or take. So, anyone's curious.
There's one, and they always go out of their way to make you feel like the original cast are the only ones who matter. I mean, yeah, because they're the only ones that should. You don't need all those other characters.
Yeah, it's like, it's cool that Wonder Girl's there, but they don't have time to develop her as a character. She's just there.
Yeah, just focus on your small cast of.
But even season 1, though, like, they took their time with, like, Miss Martian, Superboy. I mean, like,
Also,
Artemis
their
doesn't come in until what, like episode 6?
yeah.
Like, they
Also,
take their time introducing those characters.
their Beast Boy origin is really weird.
Yeah. At least he's set up in season 1. He's in like 1 episode.
Gareth, are you excited for Dragon Ball Daima? I want to be. It's not what I want from Dragon Ball, but I think that'll end up being. This feels really weird to say. Like, we just live in bizarre times now. The last thing Dragon Ball related that Akira Toriyama will have worked on. So I'll watch it.
I think season 1 might be one of the most well balanced though in terms of villains, because you basically get 3 Joker episodes, 2 Penguin episodes, and then every other episode is like its own villain. Because like this starts as a Joker episode and will become a Clayface episode in the next one. So I think season 1's got a pretty good balance with the villains they used. And then in season 2, there's like 6 Joker episodes. Oh, look at that technology. Look at that antenna.
I still haven't finished season 1 of Spectacular.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, season 1, I think.
I don't know how I missed that. Because that's right around. Well, no, that's before Young Justice, isn't it?
I think it's before. I always forget when Young Justice actually started, just because that show's now been canceled like twice. So I'm like, wait, when did it start?
I don't even think it's officially canceled. They're just not announcing another season.
I thought it was canceled again.
It might be. I don't know. I would be fascinated to know what the fuck they were thinking with those last 2 seasons.
What they should have done was just made season 3 a farewell season. Like, okay, everything we set up, we gotta wrap up. But
what they should have done is just made season 3 the technical season 2.
Maybe. Yep, and now we're at the Killing Joke part of the story.
Oh yeah. No, this is horrifying for a kid's show.
Oh yeah. This was intense. I also really like the conundrum here where Batman comes really close to telling, or Bruce comes really close to telling Ethan that he is Batman and is considering bringing him into the fold. And we're gonna see how he dodged a huge bullet by not doing that.
No,
Because the
yeah,
last,
I hadn't read the Killing Joke the last time I watched this. This is just the Killing Joke.
hmm,
That is wild.
and I like the way he's getting in his head. Like you think you like Batman, but you're not admitting to yourself that you don't like him. Like he's making your life worse. And like I said, it's also very Two Face. Hey, so the one bad day line.
He just has a great Joker laugh.
Mm-hmm. And it's still unreliable narrator, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, even though this is like relatively tame and they actually can't do much, it's still pretty effective.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's weirdly more tragic than Killing Joke, because Killing Joke is Joker trying to break Gordon, and at the end he doesn't. And here, like Joker kind of wins with what he does to Bennett, even though the Clayface part's completely unintentional. Yeah, yeah, it's still kind of Killing Joke. Some of this is terrifying. He's on a sled. This is probably their best finale, though. Like it does a really good job at kind of tricking you into thinking, oh, of course, like this is our big finale with the Joker. We're bringing the season full circle, but it's like secretly, no, we're actually setting up this whole new villain for Batman. That's gonna be the real villain in this finale, and it's just really well done.
AMC says it's a lot like what Nolan did with Joker breaking Harvey. That's true.
Yep.
Mm.
Don't shoot him. And also a great arc for Yin.
I think they changed his bat logo between seasons too.
They may tweak it slightly.
Is it just it looks different here?
It also may have just been that shot.
True.
And this is where it's really hard for me to say if I prefer season 1 or season 2, because season 1 I really like the Bennett stuff, but season 2 I do like that team up with Batman and Yin a lot. So this cliffhanger coming up freaking traumatized me when I was a child because I didn't see the next part, and I don't think I finished the season until the DVD was out. So I genuinely did not know where this was going. Because yeah, this is gonna turn into some real body horror.
No, yeah, the way they do Clayface is horrifying.
Yeah, this might be my favorite Clayface, or top 2 at least. Oh my god.
Dun dun
So
dun.
when I was a kid, I just thought he died. Like I was like, did he just melt? I didn't know he was becoming Clayface because I was dumb. I didn't pick up on where we were going. So yeah, it wasn't until like weeks or months later when I finally saw the finale and like got the whole payoff because I thought he just melted and died. It was traumatizing.
All right, everybody get it to timestamp 0 of episode 13.
Yeah, last one for the night.
Last one for the night because it is already 1:35. You're on a fake time zone. It doesn't matter what time you're on.
That is true.
Just updating title. Playface of Tragedy. All right, and I'm going to remember to do the timer this time. In 3, 2, 1, go.
And I agree,
MC.
AMC. We do get a couple good Bennett episodes season 2.
Yeah. Remember the last episode?
I do think it's weird when they include episode recaps on like DVD or streaming. But yeah, Yin warming up to Batman does happen really slowly. It's not until like the very end of this episode when she's like finally really cool with him. And like I said, most of the footage in this intro is from like the first 5 episodes.
Yeah. They love that shot of him in the Batmobile.
Because it looks great.
That's true.
And having somebody say the Batman is such a weird choice, but totally works.
Oh
Oh my
my
god, it's a
god.
Cronenberg movie.
And I feel like I should hate this Clayface design, but I don't.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites. It's so different. I think the gray really works. Yeah, I think my favorite Clayface might be TAS, just because that's so definitive for me, and that's such a different character from this. But this is like top two or three for sure. And I don't think we've gotten a lot of great Clayface adaptations after this. He's usually just a villain who shows up for like a fight
I,
scene.
I can't name any.
Like he's used well in City, but that's mostly just a plot twist and a boss fight. But you never get like just a good like side mission with Clayface in an Arkham game, which is kind of weird.
Night was the place to do it.
Yeah, could have brought him back there. Yeah, we're talking about trauma, folks.
Drama.
It's a monster. Kill it. We did it. We saved the city. And you said you haven't finished Spectacular Spider-Man season one yet, right?
I have not.
I think structurally that show does something very similar to this with how they build up to their main villain for their finale, and it's really organic and well done.
Interesting.
Where it's like, oh, this was going on in the background this whole time, and now you're getting the payoff. Because this show, especially season one, like it feels more episodic than it actually is while you're watching it. Because then you get to the end of it, it's like, oh, everything I watched like mattered with Bennett and Rojas and Yen. Like there is actual character growth and projection with them episode to episode. You just don't necessarily feel that when you're watching the show for the first time.
Yeah, for sure.
I was like a good Batman Clayface fight. Batman, you don't need to be mean. The way Rojas is played, it's like very J. Jonah Jameson. Where it's like I hit him, but he saved me, and now I want him. The best and worst thing about Clayface in animation is you get to be so creative and do all these cool things with these fight scenes, but it's also expensive and time consuming as hell to animate, so you gotta use them sparingly. Like it's the same with TAS in here, where you get like 3 or 4 Clayface episodes, like as much as we can afford to animate.
Have you ever read the Rebirth Detective Comics run?
I did. I read quite a bit of that when they had Clayface on the team. That was a weird choice, but I
I
remember
really
enjoying
liked
it.
that run. It also helped that I wasn't liking Tom King's run, so it made that run
Sure.
look better.
I think Basil Carlo was a weird choice, but that was still like kind of like gray New 52 Rebirth era in terms of continuity. But yeah, it was just cool to have Clayface like as a good guy.
The
And like
eyes
since
really make this Clayface come together.
yes. Yeah, it really works. Like so, some of this just feels like a Cronenberg movie. Like it's just a body horror movie for a little bit. It's also a little like a Darkman, where he's gonna spend some of this like trying to fake it, trying to reassimilate and make it work.
Yeah.
Darkman's great.
Darkman rocks.
That's what Liam Neeson should do next. Come back and play Darkman again. Clayface is a great guy, actually. You should say nice things about
I like that he just lost a lap sample.
him. This is just the rest of the episode. Oh my god, he got face huggered. Alfred's like, you do not pay me enough for this. Yeah, one comic we'll definitely review at some point on the channel is the Mud Pack from the 80s, or that's the big team up of all the clay faces, because there's like 5 of them. But in the comics, I love the Golden Age one. I love the Bazooka one, before Clayface had powers, where he was just actor guy who goes crazy. And then Clayface 3 is probably my favorite, because that's the one who doesn't really transform, but he's constantly melting and he has to like kill people and take their energy to reconstitute himself. And it's played really tragic and melodramatic. Like it's awesome.
Interesting.
This is gross. I don't like it when Clayface puts people inside him.
Whoa.
That's
I don't
what
think you
happened.
could say that. Can't say that.
Jareth asked if the show has Killer Croc. Yes, he's in several episodes.
Yeah, it's Ron Perlman for most of it.
Yep. And it's, of course, a much more heightened design. Like, he's got a tail. He's a lot more monstrous, but...
He's
in the
just a
show,
croc. Like,
yeah, he's like just a talking crocodile. But in the show, it works. I usually don't like Killer Croc with the tail. But for some reason, I give this show a pass.
I think it works here because they're not trying to pretend that it's just in disease.
Yeah. I love it in Arkham Asylum where they're like, oh, he has a rare skin condition. It also makes him 12 feet tall. And a cannibal. I always love a good shapeshifter plotline. Who can you trust? Oh, this one's great. I forgot about this scene.
Oh, that's so creepy the way he
Yeah.
looks.
I wish we did that more with Clayface, where it's not like a fully formed human, where sometimes it's just kind of a blank canvas, or where he looks like a mannequin.
Oh, that would be cool.
This is Rojas's terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. Just follow the Batwave, you'll find.
Jared says Firefly is really good in the show. I don't disagree, but it's been a minute.
I do like the show's Firefly. He's also in several episodes.
Huh? Fancy that.
Why are there always basketballs in the middle of a floor? Every time we go to a closed gym in
Have you ever
fiction, there's
been
always
to
a
a
basketball on the
gym?
floor. But yeah, that would be put away. Why is it in the middle of the floor? Yeah, leave it. Let the janitor deal with it. Now, Ethan, you're not you when you're hungry. Just calm down.
Oh, and we haven't mentioned Yin is
May not win.
yes. Thank you.
Great actress. Great voice actress. She's done a lot of stuff.
Ron Perlman was all over the show. Killer Croc, Bane, Rumor. I didn't know he was Bane.
That's true. I think for like what episode? I don't
The
think
one
he's
episode that he's in?
OG Bane. No, I think he just voices him in one of the cameos later, but I could be wrong. But like, there's one episode where it's like a bunch of villains, and Killer Croc's a pretty big part. Of course, Ron Perlman voices Croc, and then Bane's in like one scene, so they just had Ron Perlman voice Bane because they had him for that episode. Like, we don't need to hire another guy to voice Bane for one scene. Just have Ron Perlman do it.
It's true.
And this Clayface was one of the few action figures I had from the show of the villains. Thought it was pretty cool.
Oh, interesting.
I really wanted the Killer Croc action figure, but I never got that one. I don't know how expensive these are on eBay now.
Let's satisfy my curiosity.
I think some of them are like crazy expensive if you want to find them like in packaging.
You can get their Man Bat figure for $15
Ooh, that's tempting.
in the box.
That's pretty good. It's not bad. What's crazy with this show is usually cartoons like this that have a toy line, the toy line will kind of die out, like, or stop like halfway through it. This show had toys to the very end. Like, they made a Superman figure. I don't know if you remember that, but like they did toys to some of the Justice League members. So that's kind of rare for a show like this.
So the most expensive one I'm finding is like $50.
Yikes. Yeah, I was still getting action figures like from cartoons I was watching when this was on. I got a few. I did get Batman, Robin, and Nightwing, or a Nightwing Batgirl. So I got those. And the villains I had, I think, were Clayface, Joker, Mr. Freeze. Those may have been my only 3 villains, but the Mr. Freeze figure was pretty cool. I was really happy I got that one. But yeah, I don't think I had another villain outside of those 3. Everything I believed in was a lie. And that's another thing, them dropping Yin after season 2. We don't really know the whole story on that. It just depends on who you believe or who you listen to. Some say it was a pay dispute. Others say it was just, they just wrote out the character. Others say the new people who came in just didn't like the character or want her or whatever. Like, it's like, I don't really know what happened.
Nobody will. It's just a shame because I really like their dynamic, especially when they start working together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like season 2 has a lot of really good stuff with her. And also, Ming-Na Wen's someone who's kind of in the middle, where she's not like this huge Hollywood A-list celebrity. She just kind of does everything. Like, I mean, she was Mulan, you know, like she's done lots of voice work. Like, it's not like she's known as a voice actress or as a live action actress. She just kind of does anything. And I've never like heard her talk about the show like since it's been on, so I don't know the whole story behind that.
Well, that comics channel that you recommended did a video on that.
That's true. Yeah, I have seen that. Yeah, Casually Comics, great channel.
Yeah.
Jareth has the Batmobile from Batman and Robin. You can keep
That's
that
awesome.
one. I don't know if I need that Batmobile.
No. Well, folks, that was the 2-part finale of season 1.
We did it.
It's a good show.
Yeah, a lot of episodes, a lot of variety.
This was if you're watching after the fact, because this is also going to be a pre-recorded video, consider hitting the subscribe button and throwing us a thumbs up, and we'll see you later.
Good night.
If you're watching this on the stream, that is going to be it for us tonight, because it is 2 a.m. here, and I have been up since 7:30.
Oh boy.
Thank you, Robert. As always, it's been a pleasure. Next week, we are doing another watch party for Texas Chainsaw and Texas 3D over on Haven of Horror. And then in 2 weeks from today, we'll be doing Court of Owls. Yes.
Yes.
And AMC, me too. Yin was great. At least we got some resolution for Bennett, Yin, and Artifacts. Did we?
Yep, we mentioned. Yeah, because they're mentioned. I think Yin's like commissioner or something. So there is.
I don't know if I'd call that resolution, but okay.
Anyway, it's better than nothing.
And then we will be back on Sunday with Telltale and Arkham Origins. Have a good night, everybody.